Okay, hello everybody. Cozy Azeroth here, aka Zachary Fruhling, and I'm waiting for my friend Dylan, and we are going to work on our retro Dragon Ball Z themed fighting game in PICO-8. And while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and um, get the game loaded up. Although we're gonna do a couple things. We're gonna look at Dylan's version that he's been working on, playing with music and sound effects and some of the sprites. He's calling it Dylan's Fury, but this is going to be the canonical version of the game on my machine. So we're going to see what from his version we can bring in, and then we're going to try to do something um, with the main game loop, something like the character selection screen or round start and end screens, or getting the round indicators, little Dragon Balls onto the player stats section of the screen, so on and so forth. So let's see. So we need to change directory to fight, and then we need to load fight. Okay, should be able to run it from here. I'm not used to seeing it in not full screen, but I need to be able to leave this not in full screen for the moment so I can um, drag and drop Dylan's version in here. Okay, so I gotta remember which. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so yeah, where we were from last time, we have the characters punching, which is what it's happening now. I don't know if you can see his little punching mechanic, and then we also have the character shooting what we're calling Kai Blast, which is a Dragon Ball Z thing. And if you come over here and punch the player, it increases your Kai and lowers the other player's health. And if you blast them with Kai Blast, you use Kai and damage the other player's health, and so on and so forth. And this all happens really fast, so we might need to decrease the amount of damage being done, and we might need to maybe decrease the rate at which the Kai gets built back up. But maybe it's okay because the round is only 99 seconds long, and maybe that's okay. Could potentially change the round down to 60 seconds too, maybe 99 seconds. 99 seconds is okay. Reminds me of those old Nintendo games, sometimes counted down from 99, so I like it. And let's see, to remind myself where I was at. Here's all the code in progress so far. It's a lot. We've used up 2,500 of our possible 8,192 tokens. So we need to be judicious about what else we do from here. That's why I want to start working on the main game loop, because I'm not sure how much space we're going to need for the things we want to do, like a character selection screen and tracking the rounds and stuff like that. So we can always add more mechanics, we can always add more sprites, but I'm a little worried about how much of our code space we're using up here. Although we can tighten up some of it. You know, we probably weren't very efficient in creating this code here that generates the background. Probably could tighten that up. Anyways, yeah, pretty impressive. Hand wrote all this so far, and I'm not a trained programmer, so this is a challenge for me, and I'm proud of what we have so far. But I'm going to not run the risk of messing up my code, and I'm going to come back here, clear the screen. I'm going to admire my work. Now, I don't have joysticks hooked up yet, but I'm controlling this with the keyboard, so let's see. Yeah, so notice that they have different colors of Kai Blast. So I need to... There's a couple things I know I'm going to need to do once we have the character selection screen up, because right now these sprites are being called very specifically, like if it's, you know, this Frieza character has the purple Kai Blast and Goku has the orange Kai Blast. And if you look at the sprite editor, right there, we've got a couple different versions of these Kai Blasts. So we just need to make sure that we're pairing up the Kai Blast with the right characters. And we also need to work on the transformations. I think before we do that, I need to start working on the game loop. I'm just worried about how much room the game loop is going to take. Shouldn't take too much, but I've never built a character selection screen. Just want to give myself plenty of wiggle room to figure it out. I do like Dylan's work on these planets. These planets look awesome. And I think I can probably start getting these Dragon Ball, and these are going to be the round indicators right here. So I think I can probably get that happening today. It's one of the easy, pieces of low-hanging fruit we can do today, probably. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to maximize this for the moment. Let's get out of here. Alt-Enter, make that full screen. A little easier on the eyes for anyone tuning in. Ooh. Run. And every time the program runs, the planets change position and the stars change position. Oh, Dylan just messaged. Oh, there you are. I just noticed your message. I think you're there.
Hello, sorry.
Hey, that's okay. Oh, yeah. How's it going?
Come say blaring all loud, was it when I first came in?
Let me share my screen in Discord.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my dog would not eat his breakfast this morning.
Oh, no.
Literally spoon feed him just now.
Really?
We're like, please.
Is it okay?
Yeah, he should be fine. I don't know what his deal was today. He was just not wanting his breakfast. So he was just eager to leave the room, and we were like, dude, focus up again. Yeah, he's never behaved quite like that. He was just
Weird.
distracted by everything else. He was like, I'm not eating. The other dog ate his food in like a minute, but yeah, Droopy was just staring at it. Well, he wasn't even looking at his bowl. He just walked away, and I couldn't get him to focus. I was like, just eat. Eat. This is the only reason I needed extra time was to feed them real quick, but
That's okay.
Yeah, Brady was feeding him with a literal spoon.
Oh, no. That's funny.
He's like, maybe if I just spoon feed him, and it worked for a little bit, but yeah, whatever.
That's okay. Tell Brandy hi for me. Brandy's right there. Say howdy.
Oh, I will. Yeah, she's not in the room.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
My meeting, but I'll tell her.
Yeah. So I was just giving I already started the stream, so we're live on Twitch, and I've been giving a little brief recap of where we are so far. Okay. And I'm going to go over to our Trello page here. There we go. And I know. I think. Well, there's more than we can do. I mean, everything on this to-do list is a couple hours, 2, 3. I mean, even these things that sound easy probably aren't. So I want to kind of rank these a little bit. I think we should probably let's start displaying the round indicators.
Okay.
I think that's a super easy thing we could do, and that'll really kind of polish it up a little bit. And even if it's just even if it doesn't do anything yet. I mean, we can force it to manually show one or two Dragon Balls, but we don't have rounds yet. But I think we can get the round indicators on there, and maybe I don't want to trigger it yet because I don't know how I'm going to treat the rounds yet. So I want to kind of wait to turn them on until I build the loops for round 1, 2, and 3. But I think if we get them displaying and create a variable for it that we can trigger when we create these loops, then we can just kind of manually turn them on and check that they're working okay, and then know that they're there when we start building these loops. Is there anything in particular? I want to look at your version of the game too. Of course, I haven't loaded it up yet because I've been driving all week. So I want to do that.
We could add a plug for that to check out Dylan's Fury.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Thing marking off the thing to check out Dylan's Fury.
And you said no apostrophe.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, correct.
Dylan's plural, more than one Dylan.
Yes, exactly. All of the Dylans. We gathered our theory.
So I think we should start with that. Actually, I just want to kind of see where you're going with it, and then let's see. Add comments. Yeah, let's do this. Display the round indicators, and then I think maybe I want to work on the title screen. I think that sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm not sure how big it's going to be and how much code it's going to take. So I think we should work on the title screen.
Okay.
Because there's changes that need to be made. Once you choose a character, we're gonna have to go through and say, all those places where we've selected this, like manually indicated this is the sprite for this character, this player. We need to change those based on what character is selected, and probably change things like the Kai Blast sprites and whatnot. So there's a lot of numbers we entered manually. They're going to have to turn into variables once the character selection screen is made.
Yes.
But that's okay, because we can just have a bunch of if-then statements. If this player 1 selects this character, then player 1 is sprite 187, and Kai Blast is sprite whatever, and off we go.
Yes.
No problem. The loops for rounds 1, 2, and 3, I don't think will be terribly difficult. Start and end announcement, that might even be a little easier. Update sprites, that's fun. Spawn explosion sprite on. Well, we should do that too. We should try to get a because that's part of the stuff we already have built in. So before we do, you want to work on Kai Blast impacts or the title screen first?
Maybe Kai Blast impacts first.
Okay, I don't know how long that's going to take. I've got a couple ideas about how to approach it. So
no, for the title screen. I'm thinking maybe just for title screen at first, just do like display text and have it like press X to start or whatever. Press one button to start and just have it be text.
For the title screen?
Fury, and then we'll try to make an actual map screen.
No, I think we can improve that as we go. But in order to do that, what we need to have probably, I'm just talking it through. We need a variable that tracks which screen we're on. So we'll just have a variable called screen, and screen 0 might be the start screen. Screen 1 might be the character selection screen. Screen 2 would be the action. Maybe there's a screen 3 with something at the end. Maybe not. So we need a variable that lets us move back and forth between screens. And then in order to shift between screens, everything that we have in the game so far has to be bound by these giant if-then statements. If you're on screen 1, or screen number, whatever the action screen is, then do all these player inputs. And if you're on screen 0 or whatever the character selection screen is, then do the character selection inputs. So there's some pretty big, large-scale things we have to do inside the game. But we could lay the groundwork for it. So yeah, I don't want to worry too much about the title screen, but we should enable the title screen.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Ooh, so that's a lot to do.
Line in the middle or something.
This is one of these classic things where each one of these has some unknowns that I'm already thinking about, but collectively they're a little overwhelming, and that's why we just need to focus on one thing and get that done and check it off the list and move on to the next thing. Not worry about what we haven't done yet.
Exactly.
Well, let me load up your version of the game. I'm going to do Alt-Enter to make this not full screen, and I'm actually gonna close it and reopen it.
Perfect. Can you still hear me well? I just put in headphones.
Sounds good.
Cool. Just want to make sure.
I've already downloaded your version of the game. I just drag it in here. Apparently, loaded.
Yep, and then run.
All right, let's go back to full screen here. I'm really curious. Oh wow, dude, it's got music.
Yeah, it's got music going. I made them to where
they hear this?
Plus Kai and changed up the back.
I'm gonna share my headphones with Susan real quick so she can hear the music.
I love it. Yeah, you can hear it well in the stream too. Yeah, I love it.
Dude, that's awesome.
I love it.
Better later.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you. It's so fun.
That's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, you can go see what it looks like too in the music editor thing.
I'm going to.
And then I got the Kai Blast working, and the Kai gauge goes up and down, and my bars actually disappear all the way.
Wow. I don't know what you've done here. Look at this. Wow. How does this work? Explain this to me. What am I looking at?
Effects. So the 0 there shows that is sound effect 0 and sound effect 01 both put together. So you're all the way in that music note on the right out of the 5 screens we could be on. If you go to the one right to the left of that's like a triangle. Oh, I think that's probably like a megaphone actually.
Wait, sorry.
Actual sound effect editor next to the map editor is up on the top.
Oh, up here.
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
Yeah, that's sound effect 0. That's what sound effect 00 looks like. So if you press spacebar.
Oh, I see.
That's the sound that I made there.
Dude, that's awesome.
So go to you see where it says 00 and there's like the red arrows to the right and left, so you can go through which sound effect you're
Oh,
on.
right here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
scroll to one that doesn't have a sound effect yet. I think it would be 10. I think there's 9 different sound effects. So go one more. Okay, and now just go in that area and click and drag your mouse around.
Go one
And
more
that
on
big black
number
space-
10.
No, yeah, stay here at number 10.
Okay.
Just go to that big black space and start clicking and dragging your mouse around. Okay. And now press the space bar.
Oop. Oh, I love it. That's awesome. Is there a way to know what pitch it is so you can do this intelligently, or is it just
kind of? There's different the red thing there, how it's got the red like triangle thing. Yeah, that's showing which
waveform it is. Yeah,
the different sounds.
Right. So square waves and triangle waves, and yep, got it.
Exactly.
I'm familiar. I do have enough of a I do have a little bit of a music background, and I do also have a background. I'm a ham radio operator, so I understand waveforms and whatnot. So.
Oh, perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what those different instruments are basically just different sound forms, different sound waves.
I love
you
it.
Can pick, and then you can pick the speed. So right now it's at a slower speed, but you could make it go fast or go even slower, which is this SPD 16. Yeah, that's kind of a slower speed. And now that you're on the green, you could click any of those individual red boxes and make them go red, or I think you can hold shift and change to a new instrument, and it'll change all of them to be that instrument. If you hold shift and click on one. But yeah, now you can just, since you're on the green instrument, if you click on one of those dots, it'll turn green instead of red.
Oh, I see.
And be that green waveform instead of the red waveform.
Got it. Okay.
And then in the top left, there's like a little graph, and then next to that, there's 9 boxes in the very top left within the red space. Yeah, that screen is another screen to control pitch 10. So both those screens both control the same sound. So from here, you can actually input exactly which notes you're using. There's 32 individual notes you can pair, and you can put sound effects onto the notes. That's what the stuff underneath the instruments are.
You know what I love? I love how complimentary our skills are about this.
Yeah, it's perfect.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I had so much fun. So you can go through and hear my different sound effects I made, and then you can take your sound effects and put them together in the music maker, which is the one on the right. So this is where you make your sound effects, and then you can put them together and be like, oh, I want sound effects 1, 5, and 7 to all play at once, and then I want 5 and 7 to continue playing, and then I want it to go to 5 and 7.
Ooh, I love that.
You can make that happen.
I love the noise wave. It sounds like Atari used to use static sounds like that all the time.
Yeah, it's super fun. And then that bottom space, you can drag those volume things around, and you can make them be louder or quieter, or just straight up turn them off.
Oh, I see.
By turning that volume all the way down there.
Got it.
Just disappear.
So it can kind of like fade out a little bit if you want, like that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and if you look through my sound effects, you'll see the ways that I was doing them in mine.
So the question I have, because already at a glance, I mean, the music's awesome. Is there a way just to export the music so we can import the music into our game, or do we have to recreate all of it? Because that would suck.
I kind of think I might have to recreate it.
I want to look at the manual and see if there's a way to export.
Yeah, if you can find a way to do that, that would be pretty sick, but I'm not super attached to the sounds I made. I made them all very quickly. They were pretty much all my very first attempts. I was like, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, but the music sounds awesome.
That sounds good. That's our music now. And I just did that through the whole process. I was like, perfect.
I want to play it again.
Now let's code it.
That sounds so cool.
Each other. Just punch each other and shoot Kai blasts.
Oh, yeah, smaller Kai blasts.
Yep, smaller Kai blasts, and that player 1 and player 2 have different sound effects. So player 2 has deeper sound effects than player 1.
Wow, you really made a lot of progress. I like it.
See, and then punch each other. If you're punching and not hitting each other, it won't make a sound. But if you get up next to each other and punch, it'll go. Bum, bum, bum,
like, I mean, you want to just make? We could just make this the version of the game, but I want to understand the changes you made if we did that. You know.
No, I want to keep going with your version.
Okay.
Yeah, I can just help explain different little things that I.
Yeah,
did,
you're gonna have to help me recreate what you did.
Cleaner. Yeah, yours is cleaner, and you know what you're doing. I'm just like screwing around, you know. So I was just messing around. There's like a bunch of extra stuff, I'm sure, in mine, and mine's not going to be as clean or as accurate. I'm just like kind of forcing it even more so because I have even less. I have like.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, I see.
Trying to do the round ends.
Yeah, that's okay. It's fun.
Another Kai blast. Yeah, it was really fun. I
Well,
had so
let
much
me ask you
fun.
this: since you're new to this, and I've been doing it for a while, but I'm curious what did you find came really easily to you as you started working on the code, and what did you struggle with?
Things like just simply changing out variables or expanding upon a variable that was already constructed was easy.
Mm-hmm.
So like you had already built in the Chi blast, just adding to where it like the Chi gauge was actually affected by the Chi blast was
Mm-hmm.
simple. But anytime I tried to start a brand new project, like starting the round end on my own, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh crap, without like a basis of what you have already done, I'm just like, oh, I don't even know how to start this.
That's
But
okay.
I
You're new to
tried
it.
and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I gave it so many attempts and I looked up a bunch of videos. So I was like
Mm-hmm.
getting guidance from videos the whole time. Like the music, I just looked up how to do that and was able
I
to add
love
it.
the music at a glance. It's like it's really
Yeah, it's really fun.
engaging. It's high energy and
Oh, it's great.
So
Yeah, I've been really
let's look at the
enjoying it. I just want to
manual.
make the main song longer.
Let's
Yeah,
look at the
go
manual and see
look
if
at
there's a
the
way to.
different art that I did
Oh yeah,
too,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I did
Let's do
more
it.
art. Yeah, so I made a
Oh
bunch of
wow.
different characters, which obviously none of these have to come to the real game, but I was just I
Well,
could
yeah.
change them out with
What
whoever
we
I
don't know
wanted
is how
to
many
fit my
sprites we're
friend.
going to need per character. So if we use these,
Yeah,
we could use them. We just have to have more wiggle room than this, probably.
yeah, figure
Oh
out
wow, you
which
went hog
character
wild.
each.
Yeah. You know the
Yeah, I
ones I
did.
like because we're on a black background. I like the ones that are
Yeah,
like super obvious. I like that bright bold color, like this
yeah,
bright bold color. I like the weird color ones stand out a lot.
I do. Yeah, Janemba.
And wow,
Cool. And
what
then
is
we're playing
this?
it. That is from the Dragon Ball Super, the Tournament of Power.
Okay.
That's the Tournament of Power, but it's definitely harder to see. If you go to the, oh my gosh, how do I even describe that? There's like the two little tiki bars where you can choose between three things. There's like a black dot or a white dot and a black box, and then below that is like an outside of a box up a little bit more. Yeah, that one. Go over to the right and move that bar, that triangle over one to the right. Yeah, move that over one to the right. There you
Oh.
go. Now you can see
Oh,
the
I
whole
see.
size of the.
Wow,
Yeah, now
I
you
didn't
can see
know
the
that's
whole
what that
size.
did. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've realized that somewhere throughout the art process. I was like, oh
And what does
shit, I
this
could
do?
just
Oh,
scale
makes
that up.
bigger.
Uh, yeah, it makes your pixel bigger. So instead of just drawing
Interesting.
one pixel, you draw a 2x2
Two.
pixel,
Got it.
yeah, or a 4x4. But yeah, it just makes it easier to see your planets. Yeah, and then there's all the
Wow.
different cloud blasts.
Well, it's
I was just
interesting.
playing around
So
with different
different
colors.
sizes. Do you like the bigger ones or the smaller ones?
I like the smallest ones the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think they look really good and they come out right where the hands are in the exact same line
Oh,
as the
good.
hand. So it like shoots out. Yeah, it looks like it's coming straight from the hands. But
Well,
I like the bigger ones for like special attacks if we get that far.
I like it.
Which I just won't delete the idea, so
On
it'll
the
be
whole,
easy to
I
recreate at
agree. I
any
like it
point.
as much as I like these big chunky ones. They're as big as the players, and it's a little weird.
Yeah, yeah, it is,
And
especially when you
these,
know the lore.
I don't think I like this medium sized ones. I think they're just something weird shaped about them. But I like these a lot.
Yeah, yeah, those ones have been sick, and they look really fun when they're flying
Yeah,
around.
they remind me of. I don't know. They remind me of like how a projectile might look in an Atari or something. I like it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
actually remind
exactly. I
me of
thought
the. I don't know if you
finally
ever
figured
played
it out.
the Empire Strikes Back game on the Atari 2600. It reminds me of the little ship that flies around.
Oh, but I think I
Um,
love that.
yeah, it's one of the coolest Atari games. It's awesome.
That sounds really cool.
Um,
Yeah, and then other than that, it's just the random stuff I did within the code. Yeah, I tried
mhm.
making a map. I can't figure out how to erase. I don't know how to erase on the map,
I
so
don't know. I don't know either. I haven't done
yeah.
it.
I made that one map and tried to erase stuff. That's
hmm
why all those little like blue dots are there. That was me trying to erase. I was like, oh, I don't know how to get these away.
It's funny.
And the more I tried to erase, the more blue dots kept appearing.
Well, let's look at the manual and see if we can figure out a way to export and import the music from different files. That would
That
be
would be
really
cool.
handy.
I do really like my sound effects, especially for the Kai blast and the punching. I think they sound really good.
I'm just
And
gonna.
I do like the song. I just want to make it much longer and maybe more actiony too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Export command can be used to generate PNG, WAV files, and standalone HTML native binary cartridge applications. Okay. Sprite sheet label. Import. Export music from the current pattern. But can we
Oh,
import music?
yeah. My plan was to just kind of take a picture of all the different sounds and then just open up the
Oh
right
yeah.
version with
Well,
whatever sounds I
that
wanted,
sounds okay too. I
and then just
mean,
redo it that
little
way.
more work, but you know that I don't.
Yeah.
Well, what I do see is you can export the sounds as a WAV file, but it doesn't look like you can import a WAV file into another
Mm,
file. So
game.
that's not really helpful.
Yeah.
Sound effects and music WAV file to export music from the current pattern. Which is cool because you could use the music for other stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, I saw there was some way I should be able to upload my own music too. Like if I made
oh, really?
some other song, I
Well, how do you
think
do
so. I think
that?
I saw something like that. That I don't know. I just thought I saw something about that, like when I was browsing online, trying to figure out how to add the music. Thought I saw something about being able to import your own sounds, but there was a lot to digest.
I'm just searching for
And I
music
was
here.
mostly trying to figure out how to build sounds within the editor on PICO-8. More so than I had. I don't have any songs
I
that I
really like
have
the music. It's
in
fun.
mind to upload. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah,
I
I was like, I
do.
want to make something that at least doesn't sound bad to begin with, because it would drive me a little crazy. So I was like, I want something I at least can listen to for a minute and a half.
I wish it were possible to um, have two versions. Actually, maybe there is. I don't think so. Can you run two copies of PICO-8 at once? Oh, you can. Look.
No way. So I could just have them side by side.
I think so. Maybe.
Yeah, make that one small screen.
Yeah. Let's.
I don't remember. Oh,
So we can literally just copy and paste, or just do them side by side. Maybe.
yeah, that'll be so much easier. Okay, well now we're really cooking.
Well, let's just make sure. So let's cd
On
fight load fight. Oop, typo.
What does CD mean?
Change directory. It's an old DOS command.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, you didn't use. You're too young to even use DOS ever, right?
Correct.
This is not actually DOS, but it's DOS-like. So CD is a when you had an old DOS prompt before Windows, you would have a cursor like this, and they might say like a little C colon and then a little caret like that. So you're in the C drive, and you could say it was a different command for listing, but I think it was. Oh, hell, I don't even remember the command. Shit. But there was something you typed to show you all the files and folders that were in that directory, and you could say CD, and you type in the directory name, and you could change folders and whatnot. So you'd have to navigate your file structure manually in DOS. That was before Windows.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so CD fight. Let's just run it. So, and if I come over here, I can literally just work on two different things at once. I think we're good that way. I think
that's cool.
which is great because we can.
Yeah, I'm glad you found that out just now. That's gonna save me like an hour at least.
Yeah,
probably.
exactly. But I don't think we should do that right now unless you want
copy.
to.
No. No, at the most, I just want to know what you actually like from it, so I know what to copy over, and I can just be in charge of that when we're not.
Yeah, right now, I think we don't know how many characters we're going to need, so we shouldn't mess with the character art.
Yeah,
I do think that I love the music and the sound effects generally. Okay, so cool. I would say go nuts making sound effects, and we can just either recreate them or side by side or copy and I don't think we can copy and paste, but I would say it seems like a good use of time to get the music refined and make sure you're happy with the flow of the music. It sounds good. I like the main song sounds great. The sound effects sound plausible, so I like it.
I like that. Thank you.
We might want to play with the volume, so the background is the sound effects are a little louder than the background.
I know. Every time I turn it on, I turn them down a little bit more. I'm like, I might just need to basically flatline it with the volume, just bring the volume all the way down on the.
What's interesting? Look at how the timer has stopped counting. Oh, this is not running. Is it actually?
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, why did it do?
Oh, it's still running. Okay, even if it's not highlighted. Oops.
Go back to will you run Dylan's Fury too?
I will.
They're both on that home screen, so you can see a few differences too. Because I changed changed the color, and I made it to where it actually draws new rectangles under certain situations that cover up the gauges. So whenever you hit 0 health, a new bar that's the same color as the background there, that purple color, forms over where the red bar's at. So right now there's a purple bar over the transformation gauge, because there's no transformation gauge necessary in my version right now because we're not transformed. So if you were to transform, then that bar would appear and be full and start counting down. And if you go and use all of your Kai Blast, that Kai gauge will completely disappear. I put in a thing where it draws a
I have to admit, maybe our intuitions are a little
0.
different on that one. I kind of like that there's a little placeholder so you know that it's there, but there's not. But it's empty.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. I love that we have those differences. I think for me, I definitely like it whenever I think of like retro games, but then I don't like it whenever I think of Dragon Ball Z games.
Right.
Because Dragon Ball Z games is very adrenaline inducing when you hit that 1 health. There's been a lot of times in my life where I've got to 1 health and the other person had like 2 bars of health and I won. Even against friends, it's like, yeah, if you can get that 1 bar of health and just hold the line and fight them off, it just feels like, yes.
Hold on. Hey, my love.
Yeah.
Which color scheme do you like better for the gauges? Do you like this green or do you like this?
I like the one on the right better.
Cool. Yeah,
Well,
I like
I mean,
both of them. I'm definitely not attached to the purple.
this one doesn't have the yellow.
No, because this is Dylan's version. He created a little thing that goes over it to hide right now it's at 0, and so he's hiding it.
Got it.
Yeah. But assuming there was yellow there, yeah.
I mean, no, I like the brighter pink. His looks a little bit brighter, right?
This one?
Yeah.
It's more like a purpley background, and this is more like a dark gray background.
Okay, I guess I'm not seeing a difference.
Well, I just wonder I guess I was wondering which background color you like better. Mainly.
The background color. So the box.
Yeah, this purple,
like
this big box right here, or this gray box right here.
But I also changed my text to be like that blue instead of white, and I changed the timer to be purple instead of white.
The one on the right makes it pop more. Like,
cool.
I think it stands out more. The other colors stand out a little bit more.
I could see as a compromise. I could see actually just changing this the dark gray to purple and leaving the text white. That would still pop pretty well. Although I don't know.
Or potentially just changing, or maybe just.
I mean, it's so similar though. It's like it's really hard.
Yeah.
Go wrong with either.
You can't go wrong with either. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling. I love it the way that, it looked originally. I was just like, I'm gonna play around with all sorts of different variables and see what I can do. And, it was more in the vein of experimentation.
I like the sound effects a lot.
Thanks. Yeah, I really love the Kai Blast and the punching. Have you punched yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the other one.
Punch with Goku.
Yep. Gotta remember which. Oh my God, which character? Goku is this one. Yep. Okay.
Me every time.
And what's the punch button for Goku? I forget.
I think W maybe? W or Q, I think. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you fly away and punch, they don't do anything. They only actually punch if you're facing the other character.
Oh yeah. So it's like an impact punch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Kai Blast makes sounds no matter what.
It's really good, man.
Thanks.
I like it. I think we should replicate the majority of what you done there, you know?
Okay, yeah, take a look through the coding. Go from the top and just you'll see a bunch of different things I changed. There's a bunch of random stuff, and there's a bunch of stuff just commented out too. It's just like, whoa, what happened here? I was trying something.
That's okay. Yeah, so maybe can you just walk me through the changes you made so I can start to think about them?
Yeah, so first I added in the music, and I was trying to make it to where it would play one song and then start playing another song, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. It was just replacing the first song and just playing the second one. But yeah, just adding the music right there is all you have to do to start playing any song. And then as long as you don't start another song, that song will just continue playing. On repeat.
Okay, well that's cool. It just repeats it. You don't have to loop it; it just loops itself. You know.
Yeah, it just keeps playing.
What if you do want to end it? Let's say we start a round and the music goes, and then the round ends.
I have an idea. go to the music note there in the top right. Go to the song in the top right. All the way to the right, yeah. And then we're on sound 2, so go to 0, 2, and that thing between pattern. Yep, go to that one. And then go to 3, because you see how it has the blue arrow there that's highlighted that says go to the right. Don't leave that alone, but that says this is the start of a sound, of a sound. So
Okay.
start going to the right. So then go to 3,
Right here?
Yep. So click on that. Okay, this one doesn't have an arrow, so it says continue playing to 4, so go to 4. And this one has that arrow saying go back to 2. So put that on a stop instead of putting it on the arrow to go back to 2. Put that on the square there. Yeah, click that.
Okay.
And unclick the arrow. Unclick that blue arrow. Okay, now let's try running the game. And I bet it only plays once and stops.
The music's awesome, and I like it. It's still playing.
Yep, and this should be it.
Oh, there we go.
Yep, and then it turns off.
Got it,
That's
okay.
how you make it just play once. So it's looping within the song sound with that back arrow.
I see.
So put that arrow back on and turn the stop off.
Right.
Now, I wonder what
But
happens
can
if both
you
of those
can
are
you
highlighted,
I mean, I'm sure I can find the answer to myself, but if you happen to know, because like if we start a round, we want it to start playing and looping until the round ends. How do you turn off the music in the code, not in the music editor?
that might be within the rounds. Like maybe we have that to where that's the music that plays when fight starts or when game starts or when whatever starts. But on the title screen, there's different music.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
plays,
exactly.
And maybe just switching screens will change the music.
Right, but
not too certain so far.
Let me. Is there a cheat sheet here? I want to see. Where's the music on the cheat sheet?
There might be like you can just build an if-and statement or if-then statement that's like if your health hits 20, then stop music 02 or something like that. Then music 02 equals false, and at the beginning music 02 equals true, or something like that. So if your health gets to a certain point, then music equals false, and that music shuts off. Would be, my only. But no, I didn't look into how to actually turn it off so far. I was just like, how do I get this to work? And when I first did it, I made all of my sounds into songs. So
here we go.
The punches in Kai Blast were songs.
Here's how you do
sound
it.
effects, and it didn't work. Oh.
Play music to start. Play music starting from pattern N. N -1 to stop music. What? Okay, I'm confused here.
Yeah, me too.
Play music to start from pattern N. Oh, pattern N. You obey. Okay, I got it. So N is just the music number, the pattern number.
Any number.
And then when you change that to -1, it just stops the music.
Okay, so what do we do? So we do music 2 -1, music 02 -1, or?
Yeah, probably what we do is so whatever music number you have for the main music loop, if we're on the action screen, we'll turn that on, play music, and then when the round ends, we'll stop the music and play something else while we're in the next screen or something.
Okay, cool.
I really like the music. It's catchy.
Yeah, I made a little outro sound too. Another
Susan likes it too.
Oh, thank you. Perfect. That makes me feel good.
It does bring back some sort of nostalgia.
It is nostalgic, yeah. It reminds you know what it reminds me of. It reminds me of playing Metroid on the NES. It's spacey, and which like Metroid is spacey and ethereal. Yeah, it's a little faster paced than the Metroid music, but it's very reminiscent of the Metroid music.
Yeah.
That's great.
Have you played Metroid on the NES?
Not on the NES, but on the Game Boy.
Oh, play the NES version.
It was Metroid Fusion though.
Try the original Metroid on the NES. Give that a try, and you'll see what I mean.
I would love to.
Okay, so let's. I think we can close all this and let's get to work.
Yeah.
I think. Let's look at our list here. So we have checked out Dylan's Fury. Boom.
Nice.
Let's get the round indicators displaying. So let me get back into PICO-8.
Killer.
And the right version? Yep. Okay. All right. Every time I do this, I need to like remind myself where I'm at so I don't mess anything up. So what are we drawing here? We're clearing the screen. We're drawing the gauge background, displaying the timer, displaying the gauges. Okay, so I think we just need either to build it into the gauges function or create a separate function to draw the round indicators. It doesn't really matter, probably.
Gauges makes sense. Somewhere in the gauges, or like right after the gauges, like in that same area as the gauges. But yeah, it's definitely, it feels like a gauge to me.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like gauging how many rounds you fought.
And it's like it's so big. Every time I do this, I got to get oriented again. Draw gauges.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we are. Okay, player name, player name. These are the rectangles. Okay, so let's give ourselves a little wiggle room here. We actually need, before I can really do that, so let me not do that yet. I want to come up here. We're going to need variables for tracking the gauges, for tracking the rounds one. You know, it's funny. It's like every time I'm starting to learn that the very first thing I do is before I start drawing things, before I start changing the controls, just think about what are the variables I'm going to need to track this, you know? And it's like I'm going to need...
Yeah, you've got me into that already.
I'm going to need a player 1 round indicator and a player 1 round counter, player 2 round, player 0 and player 1 round counter.
Yeah. P0, P1.
Yeah, so I'm going to be really... And I think we should put it here under the gauge values, since it's gauge value, right?
Yeah.
So P0 rounds 1 equals, and we start out at 0. P1 rounds 1 equals 0.
Nice.
Okay, now we can create some if-then statements. If it's 0, then do nothing. If it's 1, then show this. If it's 2, then show this.
Yeah.
For each player.
Perfect.
And I don't think this is going to be very hard. And the nice thing is, because we've done it this way, once we finish coding it, we can just check our work by changing this variable and running the game and see how it looks.
See if it displays an indicator, a sprite.
So I don't think this is going to be too difficult. And we already have the sprites, right? So let's... although I think inside this draw gauges function, because this is... Well, I'm trying to think if I should make a separate function just to calculate the... No, I think it's fine. I think we can do it right here. Let's just add a display round. Oop! I used hitting shift. Display round counters. If P0 rounds 1 equals 1, then we need to draw a sprite. Which sprite do we have here? Sprite number 128.
Yep.
And then it gets SPR, right? 128.
Yeah.
And we need some coordinates for it.
Yeah. Go under there.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking to see what we did here.
Yeah.
These are rectangles.
Under the transform.
Yeah, we just need to like... Let's see. The third rectangle down is 18 pixels down, so let's call it 19 pixels down.
Down 6 more.
Oh, is it? Yeah. You're right. 6 more. Yeah.
Looks like you were going by
6. Yeah, 24. And let's just... Well, I'm just going to throw it at 0 for now, just to make sure it's working.
Do it.
And let's change the variable to 1 so we can see it. P0 rounds 1 equals 1. This should unclose
is it
function.
ended?
Probably not.
It started at if and then yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Ah, yay!
Okay, so yeah, it needs to be 0, comma. Okay, I see what I did. I see exactly the mistake I made. This needs to be, this is XY 0,
Yeah.
comma
0
24.
and
Yeah, just
damn, yeah, that might be right actually.
check it out.
Maybe if we can move it up by 1 pixel, move it up just.
Well, if we do that,
pixel.
it's gonna crash against the.
Will it touch the transformation bar?
It will, I think. I like it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it'll touch that, or if it'll. Maybe we can make the gauge background be 1 pixel shorter, so there's.
I think it's
actually,
okay.
never mind, because in this version, I forgot. This version, the Goku is still touching the top bar. I actually moved that down in mine, so
Oh, really?
Goku is face because remember we were on the stream with somebody and they came in and thought it said Go Ru instead of Goku because
that's just because that's just
they
Julie and
thought-
she's not used to looking at the font. I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, that was just my inspiration. I was like, ooh, I wonder if I can do that.
I think it's okay. I mean, maybe we could move it to the right by a pixel, you know. But it looks fine.
Cool.
It looks so retro.
Yeah,
it's fine, you know.
If it touches one edge, let's let it touch all the edges.
Exactly, and I think it does make sense to have a pixel between the transformation bar and the. So I think it looks good.
I think it mirrors the Goku, how the Goku touches the edges. So yeah, if one doesn't touch the edge, the other shouldn't touch the edge. But if one touches the edge, they should both touch the edge.
But so that's not the only case to consider.
With that.
We want an else if in here.
Else if, yeah.
P0 rounds 1 equals 2, then SP.
We want that sprite and another one, actually.
Yes,
we want that
you're right.
To be there, and so that same sprite, and then.
You're good call. See, this is why I would have forgot that. See, we're doing this together. It's awesome. Simpatico.
I love it.
Brothers from another mother.
Simpatico. Exactly.
Okay.
I love it.
And so we need what? Let's find the other sprite number. Oh, there it is. 144. And here we want to bump it over by not 8 pixels, but 9 pixels, right? Because we want to leave a pixel in between.
Yeah, we want a gap between them. Yeah.
Same Y value. And we need to close this. Yep. Don't forget the end. I was.
Oh, wait. No, the whole thing was ended because it was an else if.
No.
Right.
Wait.
Oh, did you take that end off? Had you already taken that end back? Or is
this end right here where my cursor's at now closes the function. This end right here closes because if you're using an else if, the end goes after the if after this whole if and else if construction.
Yeah.
The else if is tied to the if. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that should work. But let's change it to 2 and check our work here.
Oh yeah. Good call.
Boy, this is getting really complicated.
I love it.
Boom.
Boom. Perfect.
Now let's get the one. Let's get the one for Frieza displaying.
Yes. Dude, that's so cool. Yeah, I love that it's a 1 and 2 star now. I'm falling for the idea more and more.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It looks pretty slick, I think.
Oh, they look great. Yeah, I like how big they are too. Makes it very clear.
Okay, so let's do the next one. So we want this to be a separate if-then statement.
Yeah.
P1 rounds 1 equals 1. Then
same sprite.
Oh, we actually probably need to. I guess you'll never go backwards. You don't need to erase these, right? Because.
Nope. Don't need to erase them for anything.
Right. So I was trying to think, what if we go back to 0? But that doesn't make sense, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay.
Yep, they'll just keep going up until someone wins a round, and then they both get reset to 0.
Right.
But
now let's see here.
Would be over, and you go back to the character select screen.
Basically, we just added. how do we do this? Okay, it starts at 72, right?
Yeah. So
And
72,
24.
24. Yeah.
Let's
72,
go.
24.
I think.
Should
You know, I'm actually just gonna duplicate. I'm gonna
just do. Yeah.
get the whole
Yeah,
thing
I
on
think you're
here.
very safe for that. Yeah, since you have to go up and all the way to the top and then all the way back to the bottom. Yeah.
So this one. And SPR 28. Oh no, 144.
Oh yeah, good.
And we want. Let's make this 70. We did 81. 9. Yep, 81.
Yeah.
And 24. And this will be pretty close, I think. And then we need to end this. And now let's go change these both to 2 and see how we're looking.
Yeah.
Wait. There it is.
Right there.
It'll be in the right ballpark.
Nice.
Actually, spot on. Check it out.
Yeah.
How does that look?
The exact ballpark. That's great.
Easy to track the number of rounds
That's
won
fantastic.
by each player.
That's
One and
great.
two.
Yeah, 3 rounds.
Yes,
These are
great.
little Dragon Ball Z.
Nice.
These are Dragon Balls from Dragon Ball Z.
Got it.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that looks pretty
That's
spiffy.
awesome. It does. I wonder if I could make, like how I did that 4-star Dragon Ball. Could we use that 4-star Dragon Ball sprite here, but pare it down? Like make it smaller? Can
Wait.
you take a big one and shrink it down?
No,
so I could
you-
make these more detailed and actually
You
make
can't,
a star?
unfortunately.
Oh,
Looks
you
like they
can't
scale
pare it
up but don't
down?
scale
Okay.
down. Yeah.
They don't scale down. Okay.
No.
Fair.
Yeah. Doesn't work that way.
That's fine.
I tried that before. It doesn't work yet. But it's okay. Everything pixelated and retro is cool. It's fine. Looks
It
good.
is.
All right, so that works. I'm just going to leave them set to 2 right now. Let's go back.
Perfect.
I think we can actually literally check that off the list.
Yeah, that feels at least started enough. Yeah, we want to make something to where they never. Well, I guess it'll just end when someone's won 3 rounds, so it should never be able to get to where someone wins. They both won 2.
Yeah, no, you'll know. No, of course not, because it'll end as soon as anyone wins 2 rounds. So we'll never get to 3,
Yeah.
and once one player's hit 2, the other player will never hit 2. So.
Yeah.
Spawn explosion on Kai Blast impact. Here's where we got to start working on things a little bit. What do we have so far? We've got.
Yeah, we've got those 2 different ideas there.
Which ones do you like the best?
Hard to decide. I do kind of like the one where it's all spaced out and has like the checkerboard feel
This one?
almost. Yeah, those 2. I think there's 2 of those. The one at the bottom middle, and then that one.
This one looks more like an explosion
kind of
to me. What if we started? What if we? I'm just throwing ideas out. What if we started with this one? Looks like an explosion happening. This is more like
then
like just go boom boom, display it boom, then display that 2 frames boom,
and then fade out. Yeah.
What do you think?
Like that. Or even go with that middle one too, and have whoops. Sorry, I pressed something on my phone. And have it be 3 frames. But yeah, let's try that first and just
starting with which one?
2. Any of those 3. Yeah, and then we'll just play with it and see which colors look right, and then flash to that one. I do think I like the bottom one the most.
This one?
Yeah, and then have it.
But do you like because this one has white in it, and this one doesn't?
Yeah, I think I like that still. Or maybe the middle one. I don't know if the middle one actually has white or not either, though. Or maybe we could like put the white on the 4 corners there or something. Which might be this. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool.
Right here, you mean?
Yeah, instead of yellow. Yeah, what does that look like if it flashes to that checkerboarded one? That could look pretty cool. Or even gray. I was kind of thinking like having smoke in there, like a little bit of smoke, like dusty action. So instead of white on those four
what you
corners,
could
gray.
do
But
is
yeah, we could plug those in and see what that looks like.
we're not using these,
Or
right?
mess with the art. No,
Okay, so can
no,
I
we can
delete those?
Yeah, delete those.
All right.
We're not using those.
Well, what if we did? We haven't used any of these, so I can move these around, right? So what if we did?
Correct. I think maybe do that gray one in the middle.
I was actually
It'll be
thinking.
like immediate dust. Or no, actually no. This might. Yeah, this.
I was
might
thinking
work.
this would be the
Dust
dust cloud
starts
here, like
in. Yeah,
explosion,
the dust at the end.
particles, disseminating is what this one looks like to me, and then it turns into like a little puff of smoke.
Yeah. No, I see the vision. Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Thinking it
what I
through.
don't
Yeah,
like,
that's
if
good.
this is smoke, we need to get rid of these. We need to make it look more like
Yeah.
smoke and less like an explosion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Add
I
those
think I think
grays.
in order to make it seem like there's motion happening, we need to do a couple things. One is probably, what do you think about repositioning these so it expands a little more, like it almost takes up the whole
Yeah.
square, like a.
Yeah, let's do that.
Can I? Well, maybe I'll just copy this one so I don't destroy it. Yeah, let's edit this now. All right, help me draw a field of smoke.
Take the four corners and just push them out diagonally all four of the corners, and keep them gray. And then erase the ones where they actually were. Yeah, erase those ones. Black. And then let's do that same thing with the white ones. So push all those ones out one, and then erase those. Or erase them first if you want, but. Yeah. Oh, I think the one on the right went a little too far. Oh, and it can't do one down on the bottom actually either, huh? So maybe we don't want to move those ones actually.
What if we did? Let me just kind of. Let's start from scratch here. What does smoke look like?
Wispy. Makes me want to draw like a S or a tornado almost.
Oops. I'm just going to play here for a second. This is going to look like a checkerboard, which we don't want, but we might be able to select. Let's start with a checkerboard. And let's start changing colors.
And erase the edges.
Yeah, exactly. Let's start just kind of shaping it and changing the colors.
I think just pick the black and start erasing bits now.
So where should I start erasing? Make it a little more, make it feel more round?
Yeah. Round.
I don't like that one.
Then maybe you need to take some out of the middle somehow.
No.
I have ideas, but I don't really know how to say
it's okay.
it.
I think,
translate it through there. But it gives me something to play with, and I've already got several ideas running through my head.
Looks like a blob.
Yeah, you want it to be like a snake or something, you know, like it's just got lines that comes across the top, and then it like weaves back and then comes down and weaves back, like switchbacks, like you're drawing a river bed or something, like a river.
It's not bad, is it? Shape-wise.
Yeah, maybe make that a little bit smaller.
What if it's more like...
And put just a sprinkle of black spots in, and take out a few of the whites, but keep most white, but just like 3 black dots in the middle there instead of white dots. Keep all the grays, I think, but take out like 2 or 3 white spaces just scattered around in the middle. I think it'll help give it more of a translucent feel instead of being opaque.
Oops. I kind of like this jagged edge around it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of looks like a puff of smoke exploding. Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
I think
terrible. Take out
take
some.
a couple white spots. Yeah, from the middle there. Yeah, like 1 or 2 of them. That does look a little harsher than I thought it would.
Yeah. What if we did this?
Maybe I don't like that. Maybe
That's
with
not bad.
purple, try that. Maybe try the lavender like purple color instead of that dark black.
This one here, like this.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, lighten it up even more.
I like it.
Oh yeah, I think I like that.
That looks like an explosion.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not
Let's try it
bad.
out.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I'll
we're
tinker with it a little bit.
well. Okay, let me. I'm gonna copy this over to here so I can play with it. What do you think about making
Then I
this?
get to make a sound effect.
What do you think about making
Sorry.
a preliminary version of this one that's smaller? So it starts out small, goes to this, and then goes to this.
Oh sure.
So I think it'll last longer on the
Yeah.
screen too if we do that, and that'll actually be good because you don't want it to flicker and then go away. You want it to linger for just a minute, you know.
Yeah.
So what if we did this to start?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I like that. And maybe put them up in there with the orange. Pair of these 4 with the orange one, and we'll just program the orange. And then I'll switch all out to the proper colors, and I'll make them be the smaller Kai blasts.
I gotta figure out where to put them here in a way that doesn't break things. So, these were not. So we don't plan to use these.
So far, yeah. Unless this turns out not looking very good, maybe we might.
Yeah, maybe we'll
play
leave
around
them
with
for
different
now.
ideas.
But well, where can I put them in a way that's
as long as
safe
there's one
right
of
now?
each of them created somewhere, it's fine to just be able to change out the colors. Yeah, as long as there's at least one created of each shape.
Well, we're not going to need.
Yeah, you can delete any of that stuff you want right now.
Well, what if we actually? What if I did this? Oops, that's not what I meant to do.
Oh. Yeah.
Happily, because what we could do is have for each color of Kai Blast, we could have different color explosions.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna make them color match.
Right, exactly. So maybe
And
this
then just
maybe
the
this
dust
should be
cloud
like
at
maybe
the
this
end
should be
will be
like
the same.
orange, you know, like that.
Oh, that could be kind of cool.
And then have each,
I like that idea. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of red, a little bit of green, whichever colors I pick, and I'm gonna do the small Kai blasts.
Right, but we can change that here in a little bit. Let's just get it working.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
So this over here, just to kind of remind myself for posterity and for my own. So this is just a playground here, and this is what we're actually going to be working with for now. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's think how to do that. So basically, you remember how we have the loop that counts, you know, the loop that we're using to alternate between the two sprites. Basically, when there's an impact, we then need to trigger a new loop that loops between these 4 sprites once and then goes away.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, this is the hard stuff. It's like, this is the part that really stresses me out, because getting the thing something on the screen once is easy. Getting it and making it go away and alternating things, that's harder. So I have to remind myself how we did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Okay, so I think we're going to need a function here. Okay, draw a Chi Blast. Okay, that literally just
Chi
draws the
Blast
Chi Blast. That's
impact.
all it does.
Yeah. Then we
Where?
want to draw a Chi Blast impact or something like that.
Right. I want to see. How did we alternate between? All right, I'm just reminding myself. It's funny because I think about this, and I do think about it a little bit, but I don't think about the actual very specific coding of what we already did. So it's like, okay, I got to remind myself how we did this. The punch loop, right? So if the punch is true, then we start this loop. That's what changes between the sprites. Okay, and same thing with a Chi Blast, right? We have the Chi Blast loop. If Chi Blast is true,
Yeah.
Chi Blast loop equals 0. Yeah, and it seems like happily, looking at the sprites, we don't really need to worry too much about which direction they're facing, although they are offset by a pixel, which is kind of annoying. So we might have to do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, it'll be something where once we see how it impacts, we should be able to just shift it around within the box until it's in the right feeling spot. Like I might be able to just move it closer to the person or up higher,
Yeah,
depending on.
yeah, but this one's like asymmetrical, so we might want to mirror it.
Yeah, make
And
it.
this is off center
kinda
anyway.
be
There's
off.
no way to center it because of the way the sprites work. 8 by
Yeah.
8. I wish they were 9 by 9. Actually, that would make certain things easier. Yeah. Let's dive in.
Yeah. Variables.
Yeah, just kind of.
Some sort of variables.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm just reminding myself what I did for the punching and the Chi Blast loops here, so
Yeah.
I can do something kind of similar. Okay, Okay, so. Okay, so we have P0 Chi Blast that's either true or false. I think we need P0 Chi Blast impact and P1 Chi Blast impact. True or false, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't already make those already, though, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I know we did Chi Blast impacts.
Attack
I just don't know if we had
variables,
to make variable for that.
punch loop, Chi Blast. Okay, so this is for
There's the
punching.
Chi Blast variables.
Right, and which sprite it is too, we'll need to enter in there.
Impact. Chi Blast impact was in there. And increment. Yeah, Chi Blast impact. False equals false.
Oh wait, no, that's that's whether it's in. Okay, this is where we got to be careful. That's where we got to change our terms here because that is what is That's what we're using to trigger the change in the health and the change in the Chi. So that's I guess we are
Yeah, that's for the actual impact. So now we need the Chi Blast impact sprite variable, like a variable to trigger the sprite. Or draw Chi Blast. Q0 draw Chi Blast impact variable.
I'm just running
Now,
through
we're
different.
just trying to add a sprite to this impact function that we already created earlier.
But it's not quite that
just need to
simple
add
because we need to create a little loop for this.
Yeah, we need to create a loop for that.
And we don't want it we only want it to happen once. We want to start the loop, rotate through the 4 sprites, and then stop
end.
it. Yeah, so we need something totally different than this. We're already using this variable for something else. We can't mess with that too much.
Chi Blast impact loop. It's a very long name though.
Yeah, I want to come up with something different. P0 Chi explosion.
Perfect.
False. P1 chi explosion equals false.
Perfect. Maybe you could just comment and put what that is. Just have a little comment.
Yeah.
Make it easier to remember. For the Kyblastic like explosion loop. Sprite.
Oops.
Cool.
And we're going to need a loop. And it's going to have to, just like we
Yeah.
created a loop for everything else, we're going to have P0 chi explosion loop equals 0. Oop, P0.
Yeah, that was P1.
P1 chi explosion loop, yeah, equals 0. Okay. So we'll start at 0. If it's 0, we'll display, when an impact happens. We start the loop. If the loop is set to 0, we display the first sprite, we increment the loop, redraw the next sprite, so on and so forth. When the loop ends, we change chi explosion to false again, and it goes away.
Yep.
I think that sounds plausible.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's just where to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And then drawing the function to actually draw the sprites.
Right. Well, I'm a little worried about where to put it here because we want it to happen. Oh, wait, further down. Way down here. Let me remind myself how these... I think it basically needs to happen when there's an impact, right? But we don't want to build it into the impact. We want it to be triggered when there's an impact, which we already have a variable to track that, right? We have a variable that says there's an impact.
Yeah, and the sprite does go away at that moment. So whatever's making the sprite stop being, I feel like it's like right in that same spot.
Exactly.
Because the sprite goes away when the impact happens. So we made the sprite disappear.
Right. So here's the Chi Blast.
And then right when that disappears, the new one appears.
This is detects the button press. Chi Blast loop.
Yeah, somewhere in here probably.
Okay, now here's what's happening. Chi Blast impact. This is the code that's actually changing. That's doing something when there's so. What happens? When they intersect, the Chi Blast impact is set to true. Then all this other stuff happens. I think what we need to do is when that happens, we then need to trigger. We need to say set the explosion to true. Right?
Yeah.
And then underneath this stuff, the wall under the collision stuff, probably like way down here, probably somewhere like way down here. We then say we can then start running, because the rest of the game goes on while the explosion is happening. So we don't need to mess with anything. All we need to do is say trigger this, start displaying the explosion. It goes through four different frames. And then it goes away. But we don't need to. Once it's triggered, it runs on its own. It doesn't need to, nothing else needs to happen inside these if-then statements. We just need these if-then statements to trigger it on. Right? The explosion doesn't move. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't affect anything else.
Yeah.
It just the players can still
in place.
Just stays in
place.
place.
Damage or hurt anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can still move through it and stuff. You're not paused.
So I think what we need
animation. Just art.
So I think what happened. So right here is where we need to put it. So the moment there's an intersection, the impact is set to true, and the explosion needs to be set to true as well, right?
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, that
wait,
makes sense.
and this is the play. This is the okay. We're affecting the player 1 health, so it is the player 0 sprite that we're worried about that we want to
Yeah.
add here, right?
Player
So
zero, Kai blast
P0
impact. Yeah.
Chi explosion equals
Yeah.
true.
That's true. Yeah.
I think that's right.
And P0 Chi explosion loop has to equal true too, or
Well, no, because
that's
that
defined within the loop when
right.
the explosion
But
equals
if you
true within the
notice,
loop.
this triggers the impact, but then the loop starts down here. So we trigger the explosion to true, and then way down here, out of the way, P0 Chi explosion
Loop.
Yeah, I want to remind myself. Oh, bloody hell, what did we do? How do these loops work? If the blast is true, it starts the loop. But we want to start, we don't want to start it, the loop again. You know, we basically want to start it and end it.
Yep. Yeah, we don't want it to restart.
I'm impressed I came up with all this. This is complicated. Okay. I look at this thing, oh my god, how did I come up with this?
You know some stuff.
Yeah, I forget that I know it in between, though, you know.
That's the process.
Yeah, all this is doing is changing the sprite. Look. Chi blast loop is 0, so this starts the loop. Then we increment the loop. We change the sprite number. Detect whether it's flipped or not. Update the grid.
Yeah, no flipping in this case too, so we don't have to worry about.
Oh, we
flips.
might because they're not symmetrical. So in order for it to look right, we might have to do the same trick here.
We could make it more symmetrical if we. I think it's just the smoke blast.
No, the other ones are
I guess,
offset
yes,
too.
they're off center
Because there's no center in an 8x8 grid. All this is doing is changing the grid position. Where is the sprite actually being drawn?
Thinking that function up after the draw. Yeah, down here, right after draw.
Draw. Yes. Okay. If the blast is true. Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do something very similar here where we're going to create this loop. The loop is going to change the sprite number, and then we're going to create a function that draws the explosion. And if it's set to false, then nothing is drawn. So we set it to true, start the loop, iterate through the sprite numbers every frame, and then turn it to false after the 4 frames are done.
Yeah.
And it goes away.
It goes away until it's called again.
Mm-hmm. I think we probably have figured this out. Loop. Right? We want the loop.
Yeah.
We don't need to detect anything. We don't need to. All we need to do is start the loop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Yeah. No time like the present.
Equals true.
If P0 Chi explosion equals true, then
P0 Chi explosion.
Then we start the loop. Yeah, if it equals 0, which is always starts at 0. So if the yeah, okay, got it. I don't know. I feel like I'm not like it's not coming as quickly to me today for some reason. I don't. There are days, right? What do you do? We'll
Yes.
power through. It's all good.
We are.
If P0 chi explosion loop equals 0, then we do a few things. We increment the loop. P0 chi explosion loop equals 1 equal sign plus equals 1. Add 1 to it. Oh, actually, you know what we're going to need? We're going to need sprite numbers, variables.
Yeah.
So let's just leave that right there. That's okay. It'll be fine. It's not going anywhere. We need variables. Just like we had variables for our sprites, we need explosion sprites. P0 chi explosion sprite. It's wordy, but that's equals what? P0 is Goku, right?
Yeah. We can just make them both, be that 198 for now.
198. Starts out at 198 even though it's not being drawn yet. That's fine. P0 chi explosion, or P1, excuse me, chi explosion sprite. I want to do a little cosmetic surgery on these real quick.
Sure.
This is so much fun.
Right.
Okay, so here we've got, it should be
Be purple and pink instead
purple
of
and pink.
So
this purple,
the purple,
and that pink.
yeah, should be instead of orange. Yeah.
Right, so boom, boom,
Purple
boom,
replaces
boom,
orange,
boom,
and that
boom,
pink replaces yellow.
boom, 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 boom. Love it.
Yep.
So much
same
fun.
deal. Keep the white. Yeah, I love this. And you can click and drag too.
Oh, that's okay. I don't.
Whenever
I'm
you
just
have
kind of
big
going
spaces.
cautiously here.
Just letting you know. Yeah. Wasn't sure. But playing with it so much now. Sick.
And then this one will just
And then
be.
instead of orange, purple. Yeah.
I like it.
Cool. I love it.
It looks pretty good,
Fun
actually.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it works. You know. Hey, I'm glad to contribute. You know, it's one of these things. Like I'm. You know, we each have our wheelhouse, right? I'm doing more programming. You're doing more art. I have a little bit of music background. You have more. You have an intuitive grasp of pixel art, but I've been playing games for a long time, so you know we can kind of. We're just kind of coming up with ideas that make sense here. This is great. I love it.
Exactly. It
So
meshes
this will
so well.
be 204 to
Yes.
start. And then these will change because these are going to vary based on the character selection screen. So eventually we're going to have to go through and replace all these with other variable names. Exactly, but not yet.
Yeah. Not yet. Not till we have this character select screen.
Exactly. But it almost doesn't matter. They can just be placeholders, you know, to start because, you know, if you immediately go into the character selection screen and then change the variable, it doesn't matter what they're set to at the beginning. So, okay, perfect. Let's come back down here. Just thinking because we want it to, when it's 0, we want it to draw the first sprite, right?
Yeah. That's when the loop begins. Yeah, it should call forth that first sprite.
So we don't actually want to. Well, darn it, let me think. we don't want it to change the sprite number when it's on 0, right? We want it to draw
What
the
do you mean?
first. Well,
Yeah, we want it. Yeah, it needs to.
because think what happens if we set it to 0 and then we immediately add 1 to the loop. By the time it draws anything, it's already drawing the first.
Yeah, maybe the +1 is at 0 nothing is drawn. At +1 it draws the first thing, and then it goes up from there. Maybe.
Actually, I think
Because
what
it's
we
set
need
to
to
0
do.
at the beginning of the match, isn't it?
I think
Isn't
what
it
we
set
need to
to
do
0 at the start?
is.
The 0 is like default.
Let me see how I did this with the Kai Blast. Oop.
Yeah, where did you define the sprite? Which sprite would be used? Oh, I think within the draw Kai Blast.
Yeah, what's interesting about the way we did this, it actually probably skips one and then starts with the second version of it, and then starts alternating. It doesn't matter. It looks fine, right? But
Yeah,
here it's going to
yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
So I think what we need to do, we need to make 0 doesn't do anything. It's only when it starts the loop that we
want it to draw the first sprite there.
Right. So we change the loop
0
number.
is nothing. Then draw and populate the first sprite. But how? Yeah, it needs to be drawn.
No,
right
it's okay because what'll happen?
started.
Yeah, it'll be okay because what'll happen is this loop will start. It'll increment the loop, which changes the value, and then if it's 1, then we draw a certain sprite. If it's 2, we draw another sprite. Or we just say add 1 to the sprite number. But I think I actually think I want to do this one a little differently because I think it just works a little differently than the Kai Blast. Let me think. Sorry, I'm just thinking to myself here. I know it's probably more useful for me to talk out loud, but just kind of.
No, you're fine. Yeah, take your time. Creating stuff.
We are.
Takes time.
Let's just blaze forward, and if it doesn't work right, we'll go back and adjust it. I feel like I'm having. I think it's okay. And P0 Kai explosion sprite plus equals 1. Right? Yeah. Else if. Did a bunch of.
Or we could have it not do a sprite on that one and. Oh wait, no. Yeah, no. Let's just do it this way. This is how we did the last one, and then draw the function to draw it.
Right. Exactly.
Get something happening, and then if we're off by 1, adjust from there.
If P0
because this makes sense.
Kai explosion loop equals 1, then P0 Kai explosion sprite
or the loop plus equals 1 again. don't know if you want it in the same order or not. But
Wait a minute. It's like, what did I do wrong here? This is what I did wrong. There we go.
oh, nice.
Something didn't look right. Yep. Oh, let's do the loop. Increment the loop. P0 chi explosion loop plus equals 1.
Nice.
Else if P0 chi explosion loop equals, wait,
Yeah, equals 2.
oh yeah, yeah.
It would go from 1
Right.
plus
Yeah.
1 to get to 2.
P0 chi explosion loop.
I guess those middle 2 sections are going to be the same, and I think you're doing this 4 times.
I think that's right.
It's a long name.
P0
It's a long name.
chi
You only got to
explosion.
change 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sprite.
Well, I'm just thinking, because if it's 0, it's immediately going to change it to 1.
Yeah, I feel like that first Chi Explosion Sprite plus 1 maybe shouldn't be there.
But then it'll
And
get
somehow we
it.
say that this.
Oh,
It should
this
be
shouldn't be
drawn
here.
there.
This shouldn't be here.
Instead of plus 1, it needs to be drawn there or something.
Right,
Somehow
but
these-
which it will do as long as the explosion is set to true. So you're
Oh,
right.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that goes away, and then the rest
Okay.
of them are.
I think
true.
you're right.
You
This
need
is
to go
exactly what I was worried about.
4.
Yes, so we
Okay.
start at 0. It draws the sprite. Goes to 1. Draw the second. Okay, help me keep track here. Start. The loop is at 0. We draw the first sprite. The loop is at 1. We draw the second sprite. The loop is at 3.
Yeah.
We draw the fourth
2.
sprite.
It was at 0.
0.
We draw the first.
Oh
sprite.
yeah, 0 is first
1,
sprite.
We draw the.
1 second.
We draw
Loop
the
is at
second.
2. We draw the third sprite.
Second's third.
Loop is at 3. We
Third's
draw
the
the fourth
fourth.
sprite.
Yeah, we're just offset by 1.
Right. So the loop needs to go to 3.
Yeah.
So here
So
we
one
go.
more.
So if loop is here, yeah. So this is it. So we the loop is at 0. Well, that's weird though. Is it's immediately going to change the loop to 1. That's the thing. Well, that's okay though, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should draw that first sprite first.
Right. Okay.
And then it'll change to 1 and draw the next sprite, change to 2, draw the next sprite, change to 3, draw the last sprite, and then we'll make it stop and go back to false and 0.
Right. So the first sprite is being drawn here. Second sprite here. Third sprite here.
Yeah, and now you're about to draw the fourth sprite.
Else if P0. Yeah, this is very helpful.
Yeah. 3.
Now we need to do a couple things. We need to change the. We need to end.
Just a sprite.
We set the loop back
The
to
sprite
0.
should go up 1 more. No, first the explosion sprite. Yeah, it goes up by 1 plus equals 1.
Yeah, definitely. But I want to see what we do with the loop. What did we do here? Did we change the loop back to 0?
Just ended it. Well, yeah, we just had it loop until an impact happens. So I think we actually ended it at impact.
Right.
It's just looping the sprites back and forth while the Chi Blast is true. And we didn't have to technically end it, I guess. Yeah, we wanted that one to just be repeating indefinitely, basically, until the sprite was undrawn. So we didn't really end or restart that loop ever. Just looped. It was a looping loop.
Does the loop just go on forever?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, until it's undrawn. And it
That might be a
becomes
problem. I'll have
false. I think.
to think about that. It might slow down
Yeah,
if
I
we
think.
played it long enough, you know.
Oh, fun.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm uncertain because it definitely undraws it eventually, and once it undraws, I would guess that it stops thinking about it. But maybe it does just continue holding on to that loop.
The loop might just, I think the loop just runs all the time. It's just a matter of whether something's being drawn. It's
Oh
not running
yeah,
away,
yeah,
it's just looping as the game is looping. It's fine.
yeah. It's just constantly looping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and and then whenever it's being drawn, you see that it's
Hold on, I
looping.
can't. What?
I'm logging off work.
Oh, okay.
Do your thing. You know, I realized
What's that?
I'm almost out of juice, and we have not
Oh,
gotten juice.
do you want to go
So
into the store?
I'm gonna run to Safeway, and I'm gonna get Amanda some
Okay.
apples. So
I'll work on this, then
Yep.
we'll make dinner in a while.
yes, take
Love
your
you.
time. I love you.
Okay, so the P0 Kai Explosion sprite does go up by 1.
Plus equals 1.
And then we set the loop to false, or the explosion to false.
Yeah.
Which is what we did here,
Yeah.
right?
And
In the Kai Blast loop.
Yeah, and the loop back to 0. Yeah, loop equals 0 and explosion equals false.
Oh, when the impact happens, we set it to the loop to false, or the explosion to false. But here we don't want it to loop. We just want it to. Right. So after.
Yeah, maybe instead of a loop, we want to call it like an animation or something.
No, it's still a loop. I mean.
Oh, okay.
But we want.
don't want the loop to loop then. Yeah, we want it to just end here.
I think what we need to do is P0 Kai Explosion equals false. So let's see.
And
So when an explosion is triggered, the loop is set to 0. It immediately changes it to 1. The first sprite is drawn. Yes. Next frame around, changes the loop to 2. Sprite is incremented as well. Next time around, every 30th of a second, it changes the loop to 3. Next sprite is drawn. Changes the loop to the last. Yep. Well, not 3, but 2. Yeah, changes it from 2 to 3. Changes the sprite, and now the explosion is set to false. And so we're gonna have the draw function only draw something if the explosion is set to true.
Yeah, and you want to set the loop back to 0. I think.
Oh, we can't have this because look. No, because. Let me think. Hold on. We can't change the explosion to false because then on the next go around. I love you.
I love you.
On the next go around, it won't run through these if then statements
until it equals true again.
Yeah, but we needed to stay true.
Just once. We want it to just be true when an impact happens. And then return to false. And not play again. Until another impact makes it go true again. Yeah, so somewhere within the impact, we need to make Kai Blast Explosion true. I don't remember if we did it or not.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, goodness. Feels like this should be easier, but it's actually harder.
Yeah, it seemed like a bit to me, but I think this is going good. I feel like it's just about there.
Oh, no, this is okay because, yeah, so Kai Explosion is set to true, it's still true. It starts looping. Next loop around, it's still true. Next
Yep.
loop around, it's still true. Next loop
Yep.
around, it's still true. And it's only here it gets to false. And then
Yeah.
we're fine because we do need to set the loop back to 0 though, right? No, because every
Yeah,
time
we
it's
want
every
the
time
loop
it's set
to be
back
0.
to true, it's set back to 0. It's fine. We already have that
Oh, so
covered.
it's automatically set back to
Yeah,
true.
the
as soon as it
next
goes
time
false.
the next time this is true, it'll automatically go back to 0 and start over.
But that's a test. It's testing that it's 0. It's not making it 0. Right?
You're right.
Loop equals
think you're right.
0, so it's checking to see if it's 0.
I think
Like
you're
if
right.
it's true and the loop is 0, then do these things.
I think you are correct, my friend.
So if we either need to take that and make it 1 0 or add the loop to be 0 at the end of the loop, I think.
I think we need to do that. That resets the loop.
You're teaching me.
And now we can end this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we need to end this.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that should be working, but we won't see anything because there's not a sprite actually being drawn.
Right, so now we need to draw, we need a function that draws the sprite.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually we need to, we actually
this should
then,
be called on the wall collision as well.
well, hold on, we need to actually,
Oh, no, we don't want to. Never mind, I lied. Let's not do that. Just on the impact. Yeah.
we also need to return the sprite to its original value.
Okay. Right, minus equals 4.
Well, we need to draw the sprite before we do that.
Yeah, let's see what happens with it.
Actually, can you, I need to use the restroom. Can you just hold on for a sec?
Oh,
I
me
drank
too.
too much.
Yeah.
Let's just take a quick little bio break and we'll come back and solve this problem.
All right.
Be right back.
Bio break.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right, you back?
Yep.
I think I solved it while I was in the bathroom.
I love it.
I think so. The problem is that we need to reset the sprite number, but we can't do that before it actually draws the last sprite. So if we tried to do it here, it'll just never draw the last sprite because it'll increment it and then change the sprite number back, and they won't draw the sprite the last sprite. I think we need to add one more iteration to this loop because we've already ended the display of the sprite. I think on the very next loop, we just need to reset it but not draw anything. We keep Chi Explosion set to false. Oh, maybe not, because it won't. Then this won't trigger. The loop won't trigger here. So, okay, that's not going to work. Never mind. I thought I solved it. That's not going to work. Oh, you know what we do? If chi explosion is false, what we have here is if chi explosion is true, we just add an else if chi explosion is false, we set the sprite, always set the sprite, reset the sprite whenever chi explosion is
Yes.
false. That'll do it.
That's a good idea there.
That'll do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, within the,
That's it.
yeah, else if
So get rid of this. No, we need that.
Equals true. Yeah, in that one, and then it's another one. Else if equals false.
Yeah. Else if P0 chi explosion equals false, then P0 chi explosion sprite equals whatever number it is.
98 right now.
198, yes. 198. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then once we have new variables later, we'll just change that so that it changes for the character select screen.
Right.
But
We'll just have to be really careful about making that change when we get that far.
Yeah, and if you ever want to change the sprites, it just means there's two sprites.
Yeah. So let's just think this through. The game is running. When an explosion happens, we already added something that changes the explosion variable to true, starts this loop, starts at 0, runs through it. After it shows all 4 sprites, boom, 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 changes the explosion to false. The loop ends. And then on the very next loop, next game, the big game loop, I mean, not the explosion loop, the next big game loop, every 30th of a second, explosion will be false. And if explosion is false, it just sets the sprite back to 198.
Yeah.
I think that now we just need a function that draws the explosion. So let's come up to wherever we're defining our. I think we did it somewhere.
Down a little bit more. Yeah, right here. Down under the count.
Draw gauges, draw chi blasts.
Right
okay.
here.
So we need to function draw P0 chi explosion. If P0 chi blast equals true. Oh, we need positions for it.
Yeah. Do you want to do chi blast or chi explosion?
Oh yeah, chi explosion. Yeah. Hold on, I'm going to leave this incomplete, which I hate to do, but I'm actually. Let's just. There we go. Okay. We need variables for the positions.
Yeah.
Even though they're the same, they need variables because the player is going to move around, but the explosion is going to stay put.
Yeah.
So we got to have some variables for it. Good times, huh?
Variables.
Yes, lots and lots and lots of variables.
Mm-hmm.
P0 chi explosion x equals. It doesn't matter what it is at first. It's going to basically, whenever an explosion happens, we need to give these some variables or some values. So I'm just going to. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I think because nothing's being displayed yet. P1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, P0 chi explosion y. They just start out at 0. Right?
Yeah.
And we'll do the same thing. P1 chi explosion x equals 0. P1 chi explosion y equals 0. So they start out at 0. And then when there is an impact, so right, that's punching, Chi Blast. That's the button press. Oh, that's right, we're doing grid X. Right? Grid X and grid Y. And then we have the update grid function.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all part of the. Let me remind myself how this works. Everything hangs together, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where is the update grid function? Okay, not it's further down than that. Where did I put it? Here's the update grid function. Okay, so just like we have to do the same thing for the Chi Blast explosion. Aha. Okay, so we have the grid X and the regular X and the Y and the grid X and the grid Y. Got to do the same thing. Sound good?
Yeah.
It's tedious, I know, but
Gotta do it.
gotta do it. It doesn't make itself, exactly. It's up here, right? Wait a minute, what do we do here? Grid X. Okay, just has having grid X, grid Y. So all we did was define the grid values, and then in the update function, we define the XY values based on the grid values. All we need here is the grid values. Zero and zero. I think that's all we need here. Because in the update function, wherever it is, we are going to immediately define these new variables. Right, these aren't defined up above player 0x. These are just defined in that function. Player 0, I don't see player 0x anywhere, do you?
I think it
Nope, just the grid
maybe
X.
not. Player 0 grid X's, yeah.
Or we might need the flip variable as well. I'm not sure. Maybe it's fine, maybe it's not.
We try it without it first.
Yeah, I think we're gonna want it. I really
If it's
do.
too noticeable, yeah, if it's too noticeable and is distracting, then we'll do it. But yeah, maybe by the end of it, if there's space, it wouldn't be a bad thing just for a nice touch. Symmetry. Symmetry.
No P0.
Yeah, that was something I did in Dylan's Fury. I went through and took out the players and
Nice.
so that they're all P1 or P0. Just since I wasn't as familiar with which was which, I was like, oh man, I'm
So
struggling.
here, all we need to do is player basically 8 times no, hold on, mistake. P0 chi explosion X equals 8 times P0 chi explosion grid X. Right?
I
P0
trust you.
chi
Yeah, I
explosion
think so.
Y. It's the same formula. It's the same formula just repeated over and over
Yeah.
again here. Right, so we just need
Yeah,
to take
that's
this,
what I would do.
and we just need to change this variable. P0 chi explosion grid Y. And we do the same thing for the other player. Right?
Cool. Yeah.
So let's copy these two lines.
P1.
Okay, so this will be P1, 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 P1. Okay, so that gives real coordinates for our explosions. Now we can work on the draw function.
All right. Yeah.
So if P0 chi explosion, I'm sure it's got to pop up here. What's happening? Oh, someone just favoriting cross stitch patterns. Cross stitch business is still happening.
Yay! Let's go.
Yeah, I know. Buy more. P0 chi explosion equals. Oops. Equals true. Okay, now. Oh, this is what makes. Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, and kind of bless.
I don't think we need to worry about that part. If P0 chi explosion is true, then.
Oh yeah, because it's only true if the explosion's true. Then sprite that
P0 chi explosion sprite.
yeah.
P0 chi
Oh yeah.
explosion X. And P0 chi explosion Y. Right? And end.
Yeah. What was the 1-1? The other one of the Kai Blast had a 1-1 after that.
What's that,
Or
sorry?
at least they had more. In the Kai Blast sprite, they had more stuff, or we put more stuff in there.
Oh, yeah. Because yeah, we might need to do that.
Scale.
That's what allows it to.
Scaling and
This
the
is the
flip.
scaling, which basically means not scaled, and this is what
Yeah.
tells you whether it's flipped or not. Which
Gotta
we might
fix
want to
that.
do. Let's just get it working first.
Okay. Yeah.
Then we can.
I was just curious what that was. I was like, oh, there was more.
Now we need to
information in that one.
actually draw the explosion to the screen in the draw loop.
Yes, in the draw. Yeah, down there.
Draw P0 chi explosion, right?
Yes.
Is that what we called it?
Yeah. I think.
Draw P0 chi explosion. I think that might work.
Same. Oh.
Like 591. We didn't end something. Let's check everything we added. I think we just didn't end something. Okay. That's all okay.
Ready and good.
That was working fine. Draw Kai Blast. Okay. Oh, that's the we're looking at explosion. Okay, then end and end. That looks fine.
that else if ended.
Well, we have this if,
Second one.
and then it goes into an else if, and then it ends.
Oh yeah, because they're one. That's right.
Hmm. So here we've got an if, else if, else if, else if, and an end. And here we've got an if, an else if, and an end. I don't see what the problem with that is.
It's just a typo or something.
Maybe. You can check it more carefully in a second. Draw, okay, that looks fine. So let's just double check our equal signs now. That's a test. That's a test. That's incrementing the value. That's a test. That adds 1. That adds 1. That's a test. Adds 1. Adds 1. That's a test. Adds 1. That's assigning a value. That's
Wait,
assign.
is there a then after the 2 and 3 there?
No,
Else?
that might be it. Good call.
There we go.
That was it.
Woo!
All right.
Nice.
So player 0 is Goku.
Yes.
All right. So how do we shoot his blast? Okay.
Yep. And then it needs to make contact with. Oh.
Well,
I told
oh, you know what we
did
didn't do?
something on the first time.
Yeah, you know what we didn't do? We didn't actually. I know what we didn't do. We need to, on the impact, when, where do we say the impact is true? Kai blast impact. Kai, okay, when the explosion is true, right then we need to assign the values for the explosion, the coordinates. And that's going to be at the same position as the Kai blast is, right?
Yeah, wherever the Kai blast is, right there when it explodes or impacts.
Actually, one second. I want to. Yeah, it's right here, right when an impact happens. P0 Chi explosion grid X equals P0 Chi blast grid X, right?
Yeah.
And P0
And
Chi explosion grid Y equals P0 Chi blast grid Y.
yes.
Well, it worked once.
Nice. Yeah, it worked once.
Why
Well,
did?
I'm seeing it still, but
Are you?
do it again. Yeah, I'm seeing
Hold
the
on, I'll
first
run.
sprite. I was seeing the first sprite happen,
Oop.
but not the. And
I don't see any. I don't see.
it's,
Oh wait.
keep look. Yeah, keep
Oh yeah.
doing it.
What? Why is it
Oh,
doing that?
it's just continuing to scroll through sprites. It's not resetting
Why? Why is it change?
it. It's changing all of our sprites.
But why is
over.
it changing the?
Kai Blast sprite?
I made a mistake somewhere. It's in the loop.
Yeah, it's continuing to go through different sprites for some reason.
Okay. Here's the explosion loop. Starts out at 0. That's fine. Kai explosion sprite. That's the right one. Kai explosion sprite. Kai explosion sprite. So why on earth is it changing the Kai blast sprite? Oh, this is why right here. Oh wait, no, wait. P0 Kai explosion sprite. Why is it changing the Kai blast sprite?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
What did I break? I didn't touch the Kai Blast loop. Okay, well, I'm truly confused at this. Because that works.
Now try going up and firing not at Frieza and see if do that. Yeah, it
Yeah,
has
look.
changed. The Kai Blast sprite is getting changed for some reason. Somehow what number the Kai Blast sprite is choosing is changing, so must be a typo somewhere or something like
Yeah,
that.
but look, it's weird.
Now you're out of Kai. So.
What did I fuck up?
Maybe it's where it's being drawn, somewhere with the draw
Maybe.
function or something. That seems all correct. Or somehow how we define the variables, maybe.
Oh, I know something else I need to do. We updated the grid values. We need to run the update grid function every time we do that.
Yeah.
That's one thing I left out. It may not be the cause of it, but it's definitely need to do that.
Could be.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, it
let's see.
has pretty profound effects sometimes.
We
Just updating the
were
grid real quick.
in the Kai Blast impact. Down here, we need to update grid. I don't think this is going to solve it. No. So what is happening there? Why is the projectile? Okay. Search. P0 Kai Blast.
Right.
Oh. Why didn't I like that? There we go. Let's check everything new that we added.
Yeah. How did you do the search
Oh.
function?
Here it is.
Oh,
This is the problem right
yeah.
here.
Yeah, that shouldn't be Kai
Yep,
Blast.
I got it. Kai Blast explosion loop.
Boom.
That should solve the
How
problem.
did you do that search?
Control F.
That's weird. Control F. Oh, okay. Sick.
Okay, but that. Okay, so
Seems to be
doing
doing it. Now we're
doing
just
it
updating.
once, and everything else is
Okay, I
working
didn't
fine, so that's good.
notice.
But why is it not working again?
Yeah, something about
That's
how we
okay.
reset it.
We're getting there.
Didn't like. Yes. And I don't know if we've saved yet. I just thought about that.
We didn't. Should I save it?
Yeah, potentially it's working right now, so we've done a lot today. Yay!
Okay, so let's think about why it's not resetting. We're in this loop. P0 Kai explosion is set to true. Actually, I wish I could slow this down. That would be cool. But is it displaying the whole thing correctly? It is, isn't it? Can you?
Can't tell.
I can't really tell either.
And it is. It's doing it right over Frieza.
I'm trying to see if I'm getting a. Well, it should, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't expect it all the way, I guess. I was kind of thinking it would do it to the left of Frieza.
Oh. You think You think it should explode not on Frieza, but right next to it?
I think this makes sense too, but I think it could be clearer if it did it like right in front
Well,
of them.
I could certainly.
But also, if you're like next to each other, then where does it go? You know, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
make sense to go right
I
over them
think
too.
it might be easier to see. So right here,
Yeah.
under the Chi Blast impact, basically we want it to be a function of where player 1 is, right?
Yeah. Like player 1 minus 1 3x or
Yes.
something.
Well, this is why we have to worry about the flipping now,
Yeah.
right? Because it's going to be -1 if it's facing a certain way, and +1 if it's
Plus
facing the
1.
other way.
Yeah, if we're flipping it. So far, we don't have any flip in for this explosion.
It's also a little hard to see just because of the color of that character too.
Yeah, that's true. You could switch him out with Piccolo.
I think it is getting.
Yeah, you have Piccolo in this game.
I think it is getting a smoke screen in there. I think it's working. I think it's working.
It's very hard for me to tell. Maybe try to move Frieza up. Like, I guess that
I
would
think
be
what we
weird.
should do is actually let's get it working for both players. Then we can see a little more clearly. I think. What do you
Okay.
think?
Yeah, that or you could switch out Frieza for a different character.
And I just do that in one place, right?
Yeah. Yeah, just at the very top where it says the
Let's
player
see.
sprite. Yeah, player 1 can be Piccolo. Yeah, that. Yep, boom. Whatever number that one is, 66. So player
066.
1 is 66. And that might make it a little clearer in and of itself. Yeah, so player 1 sprite should be 66 instead of 18. Now it'll be Piccolo.
Oh yeah,
See it?
it
Oh
worked.
yeah,
It looks pretty good actually.
just one. Yeah.
I don't think
Well,
it looks terrible. I don't know. I mean, let's try it again. It's fast, I know, but it's definitely an explosion.
Definitely gives me explosion vibes. Yeah, now I want to see it like happen every time because then you'll really be
Right.
able to tell.
So I
'Cause you're
think
gonna hold that
let's
button
leave.
down
Let's
and get closer too. You should-
Oh man, why is it not
Why
working?
isn't it restarting?
Yep, that's okay. We'll
Something
figure.
about how we redefined it going back to 0 and false. I feel
Exactly.
like it didn't like,
We'll figure it
or
out.
yeah.
We will figure it out.
Maybe it's within the impact function because we have it to be set to where it turns true, but we never turn it back to false.
Yeah, but
There.
it doesn't need to happen here because it needs to happen. If the impact is true, then the explosion is set to true, and then once that happens, we're thrown into this loop here. The explosion is true.
What was the rest of the command? Because there was a few more if-then statements
Where?
within the impact section. Yeah, there was. Oh wait, no, is that the right spot?
Looking for it.
Yeah, that Chi Blast impact equals true. Messes with the health, and then Chi Blast impact goes back to getting set to false, and then Chi Blast gets set back to false. What if we also changed the
Well,
impact or
no, because
the explosion to get set back to false at the end of?
well, hold on. Let me think.
No, because the loop should set it back to false. That may be too fast,
Hold on.
or is it? Yeah. That's the only thing I can think is it's being left on there, not going back to false.
Yep, yep. Hello. Okay, so the explosion is set to true. Explosion loop is set to 0. Explosion loop goes to 1. Okay. That's all that does is if it's 0, it immediately throws it back to 1. No problem. If the Chi explosion loop is 1, then we make the explosion loop 2, and we change the sprite number. That seems to be working. That seems to be working. It's here.
Yeah.
I have to change the explosion loop back to 0, but let's try it. That was it. Look.
Oh, it's doing it. It's doing it. Now get up closer to him too. Yeah, it's totally doing it. Yeah.
That's totally doing it. It works pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's just the reason it was looking weird is because the color of the other character was very similar. I think it looks
Yeah.
fine. All right. Well, we got that was all it was. Like the loop just wasn't resetting, and I'm not sure exactly why because it
Do we need
changed.
that other spot in there then? I guess it doesn't hurt to keep them both.
Well, we do, I think. Oh, you know what was happening?
No matter what.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. It might just be redundant, but it's working. And for Fruhling programming, if it's working, don't fuck with it, right?
Yeah, that's what I've learned.
Okay, but I think I think it looks good. I don't think we need to worry about which direction it's facing. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you
so
think?
far, I'm not
So
worried
far,
about
I'm
it
not
at
too
all.
worried about it. I mean, we could check to see.
I'll let you know if it starts bothering me while I'm playing with it.
Let's just change positions here. Let's do this and see how it looks.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. It doesn't look terrible,
Fitting
does
within
it?
the bounds of his body.
It really doesn't. I don't think a pixel's difference is gonna matter there. Do you?
No.
I
And
mean,
a lot
maybe.
of times you'll be moving too, so it'll hit you, and your character will keep flying through. And the
Yeah.
explosion will happen in space. I think
I think
more so than you'll be standing still. Because me and my friends were just flying in circles, like ah.
So we need to do the same thing for the other player now.
Yes.
So let's
Double it.
Yeah, we got to go carefully though.
Yes. Duplicate the whole thing. Draw P1 explosion.
Okay. So here in the where's the impact? Punching loop. Button presses, Chi Blast impact. Right? So what we need to do all of this right here, right,
Yeah.
has got
Player
to,
one.
let's go under the P1 Chi Blast impact. P1 Chi Blast impact right here. So right here. Boom.
Boom.
Except this all needs to be player 1,
P1.
P1, 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 P1. Right?
Yay. Yep. For that bit.
And we need to take this P0 Chi explosion loop. And we need to make the P1 Chi explosion loop.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So let's add a little comment for us so we know where we're at. Let's paste. And now, all right, if P1 Chi explosion equals, yep, P1, 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 P1. So tedious. But we got it working. Hey, check us out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was a tricky part of it.
Yeah, for some reason it was not coming easily to me today. I don't know why. Who knows, right? Okay, we need P1.
Yeah. Something goes.
Oh, here we got to be careful. We got to change this sprite back to what sprite number did we use for
144, I think.
204?
204.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
204. Okay, we're in P1. That's got to be 204 right here. And we need to draw P0 Chi or P1 Chi explosion. Right? And that, I think, should do it, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah, check it out.
Boom.
Awesome. That is awesome. And everything else is working fine, right? It's working as expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, except we're not. When you're right at. Oh, that's a problem. We're not when we're right next to each other. We're not getting. Oh.
You're out of Kai.
I'm out of
Can't
Chi.
punch him.
That's the problem.
Yeah, you don't get an animation whenever you're right next to each other, but I'm
Oh,
okay with that.
but we
Well, I
should.
guess,
We
yeah,
should. We
we're
need
gonna
the
have it.
explosion.
Yeah, it's interesting that the explosion one's not popping up still, since it does go right over the person's body.
Right, but we're not. The problem is it's not generating the sprite.
Yeah. When you're right next to him for some reason.
All right, that's a bug for next time.
Cool.
Because you should still be able to Chi blast them right when they're next. It should still work, right? And it is working.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not getting an animation.
Yeah. Yeah, it hurts their health still. It just doesn't show the thing.
But why not? I can't think of a good reason why it wouldn't be working. We'll have to look at it.
Yeah, I'm really not certain either.
Was it always like that? We didn't break anything, did I?
Well,
don't think we
yeah,
did.
but there wasn't any sprites that would appear on the same spot as another sprite before. So like the Chi Blasts were always in the space between the other players, but the explosion's going right over the person. So I don't know
Right,
why
but
it
we
wouldn't.
should
Even if you're
still
right
be
next to
getting.
them, yeah, the explosion right on top of them. Yeah, you wouldn't get the Kai Blast sprite, but you should get the Kai Explosion sprite.
Right, but why? I'm confused because. Yeah, that's a bug for next time, I think. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but let's write it down. Let's save our work.
Yeah, save fight.
Yep, and let's okay, so spawn explosion on Kai Blast Impact. That's done. Okay, bug fix. Because the Kai Blast is working, it's just not spawning the explosion.
Yeah, spawn explosion sprite when next to other player.
Spawn explosion sprite. Let's fix the typo in a second.
When adjacent to the other player or next to.
When Kai Blast occurs adjacent. Yeah, spell today. To opposing player. Let's prioritize that for next time. There's a problem. Unless we can look at it right now and figure out what the heck the problem is, but
Could only be with where the draw location's at, right? Or maybe in another update grid thing.
I think the problem is probably in, well, Kai Blast loop. I'm just seeing if there's anything obvious jumping out at me, like why wouldn't it? Because it's detecting the impacts, right? Either.
It's doing the damage.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, like, it's working. The health is going down. The Kai is going down.
It's just not destroying that explosion, which would, yeah, definitely add a fatal layer to that attack right there. This is so
And in the draw function, it should be. Yeah, I don't see why.
Is there anywhere we could update the grid that might end up helping?
I don't think so. Because it seems to me that the problem is probably here in the Kai Blast impact. So if the grid X equals, what do we write here? Okay, so Kai Blast impact. If the Kai Blast grid X equals player 1 grid X. In other words, if the projectile is in the same position as the other player and the grid Y are the same. Okay, that seems obvious. Okay. I think all that's working fine. It must have to do with the Kai Blast loop.
It would also be in the draw Kai explosion function.
Well, all that's doing is literally drawing the sprite to the screen. I don't think that's it. I think the problem's here in the Chi-Blast loop. It's almost like it's turning off the Chi-Blast. I don't know. We may have to. This might take me some time to think about this. I'm not sure I'm going to solve it tonight.
Yeah, it's so weird. What have you updated the grid there?
So, I mean, the explosion loop is only happen. So the explosion is only going to be displayed if the explosion is this variable set to true. Right. So where is that being set to true? In the impact function.
Impact.
What's weird though? Oh, okay. So.
Oh, because we set it to be where the explosion to be at the same as the Chi Blast grid, and there's not a Chi Blast at that grid when it be right next to the person.
Yeah,
Right
the
next
the
to the person,
projectile
there's
goes
no Chi
away.
Blast grid. Yeah, the projectile goes away when you're right next to him.
Mm,
We want it to be at the player's location.
No, that I'm gonna watch TV, so I'm gonna
But
close
that's
the
also
door.
so
okay,
weird
let
that
me.
it's been exploding on the player. It's
Okay,
weird
no,
it
but it's
explodes on the
work.
player.
No, it's showing up in the right spot. Look, on the Chi-Blast Grid X.
Except for in one specific
Oh,
situation.
what the explosion, not the impact. Where's the explosion? Explosion loop. No, it's in the Chi-Blast impact function. Whenever there's an impact. Oh, wait.
Then the explosion is true and draw the explosion at the same spot as the Chi Blast.
Yeah. Hold on here.
We want to.
Actually, where's the button press for the Chi-Blast? Okay. Okay, detect player button press. If the button is pressed and the blast is false, in other words, you can't do them while one's already in the air, and the Chi, and you have enough Chi, okay. And if
When
you're,
you get up next to him, are you holding the button down, or are you just pressing it once?
it doesn't matter.
Well, what if it's going too fast?
It's not. That's not it.
No. Okay.
No, it would still.
Because at first it was like redrawing our sprite and it kept rebringing it back to our player when it was just a Chi Blast. So it's like, yeah, you couldn't have two drawn at once, and it wasn't continuing the Chi Blast across the screen when you press it a second time. If you held it, you would just hold a Chi Blast and none would launch.
Yeah, no, I tried it both ways.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, just thinking out loud.
so I don't think the problem's with the button presses. Chi blast loop. If the blast is true, we start the loop. The loop immediately goes to 1. We update the sprite. I'm genuinely confused. I can't think of a reason why it's not working.
My only thoughts are that we set the explosion to be at the same spot as the Kai blast.
But we didn't, did we?
I think so.
Because
Right
if
here.
it,
Yeah. Kai
oh wait,
explosion grid X equals Kai blast grid X, and Kai explosion grid Y equals Kai blast grid Y right here.
oh yeah, this is it.
And
You're
the
right.
Kai
You
blast,
got it. You got it.
Kai blast never necessarily
Yeah,
go
we
where
want
the
it to be.
player's
We want it to
standing right
be
next
where
to
the
it.
player is, right?
Yeah, instead of the Kai blast.
Which is player 1.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in player 0, P0 Chi blast, so we want it to be where the player 1 grid X is, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's it. Player 1 grid X. I was like, I don't know how
Player
to
1.
write it, but it's always so weird.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, player 1.
And player, this is it. We got to do the same thing in the other one, but yeah, we got it. Grid Y. And then we do the same thing right here. Right?
Player 0.
Player 0. Yeah, this'll solve it, I think. I'm almost certain. Unless the player, I'm curious what happens if the player moves really, really, really quickly.
Yeah.
I think this will happen before the player gets a chance to move. So I think it's
It'll
fine.
register at the moment that it registers that they're in the same spot.
Yeah, I think this will all draw before the player has a chance to move again. So even in the 30th of a second, you know, player 0 grid X and player 0 grid Y. Good call. Good call.
All right.
That's why we're doing this together. So much faster. I could have stared at this for
Yeah.
hours and not seen that.
Like, what is happening?
Okay, so now if I come up here and I hit the button, whichever button it is. Oh, except it's not resetting.
Oh, it did it once though. That's
Why didn't it reset
there.
though?
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't reset. My
Oh,
only
now it's
thought
not
is
working.
Too fast.
Oh, I mean,
Like,
wait, hold on. Okay, it's almost there. What did we do wrong? It's working once.
but it was resetting when you backed up. Are you pressing the button? How fast are you pressing down the button?
Well, okay,
I'm wondering if it's just going way too fast.
I don't think so. Because it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working.
But when you get right next to him, it's going. Oh yeah, because it's going 30 times a second. But yeah, it's still not doing.
No, but it should still draw.
Yeah, it should still draw it.
Okay, hold on here.
So that didn't do it.
Which?
Didn't break it.
Okay, well, I thought it was working.
I thought it worked at one time, but maybe it only works on the first shot.
Yeah, exactly. Which button is it again? Oh, wrong button.
Oh, that one worked.
Yeah, it was the wrong button. Oh, I'm actually messing with Goku. I was
it
just
worked.
there.
Piccolo.
Which?
Piccolo did it though.
Okay, it worked once.
Oh yeah, and that one did it. They're working right whenever you get up to each other the first time. But
Right.
After that,
so why?
That's tricky because it's yeah, working when you back up again. Is it just
So
like keeping it there, and since it's at the same coordinate, it's getting confused since the player's not moving? Because when the players change position and it would draw it in a new spot, it seems to be fine. But when it's redrawing it in the same spot over and over, it's getting confused.
I don't think so, because if I move this player around, if I come up here, it works once. If I go away, it's still working. If I come back, now it doesn't work. So why?
That's even trickier.
Yeah, so it's working once. So let's run this through. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, etching away at it.
Okay, so Kai Blast Loop. Blast is set to true. Start the loop. We can detect an impact. Impact is true. The explosion is set to true. We get the coordinates for the explosion are based on the opposing player. That seems right. We update the grid. All this does is change the set the impact to false. Kai Blast becomes false.
Did the Kai explosion become false?
I don't think so, because then it's immediate. It'll and we're basically setting the explosion to true and then setting it to false, and then it's not going to go through that loop. I don't think that's it.
But it goes through the Kai Blast impact loop. Because you set the Kai Blast impact to equal true there at the top, and then you just lower the health a little bit and set it to be false, but it goes through the loop within that function, within that time. Because that's what triggers the Kai Blast impact loop and impact to start. So it starts it, the impact happens, and then you make it false right here within the same. Curious.
Yeah, why did I do that?
Seems to work.
Right, but why did I do that?
Okay, so it's saying like if these coordinates.
Oh, I
are
think
the
this is
same,
just to make sure the. So if there's an impact, the impact is true, and all we're using is using that impact equals true to trigger whether there's a change to the health, and then we immediately go back to that being false, and then we end the Kai Blast altogether, which stops the display of the. So okay, so that all makes sense to me.
But right here also Kai Blast impact equals true. And that's not a test. Oh no, yeah, that's not even a test. That's making it true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, if
Oh wait,
the
no, this is for player one though. That's the same thing.
same thing, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
the problem's here. So if the explosion is true, we're looping, we're looping, we're looping. We reset the loop. And if the explosion is false, sprite gets reset, loop gets set to 0. Next time around, though, so where is Chi explosion being set to true? Because this is work. Whenever Chi explosion is true, this is working, right? So the problem is that Chi explode P1 P0 Chi explosion is not being set to true somewhere it should be.
That's true in the impact.
Yep. So whenever the
I think that's all.
oh, okay. Hey, hold on. Here's the problem. Chi blast grid X. So if the okay. Grid X. Let's go to the Chi blast. If the Chi blast is true, and if the loop is 0, which it is, starts out at 0, the loop goes to 1, the sprite gets changed. And that's fine. We don't notice the difference. I might have done this a little bit differently. I might have done this a little closer to the way we did the impact loop, but I think that's okay. But then, and then if it's not flipped, we change the grid position and update the grid. If it is flipped, we change the position, update the grid. And if the loop is at 1, that's right, we're going back and forth, we're alternating. I think the problem is here. Because oh man, I don't know. This is tricky. I just don't see anything obvious that's causing the problem. But it might be here. So if the blast is true, we're alternating back and forth between the sprites. But still there? Or did I lose you?
No, I'm still here. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Just trying to. It's really tricky.
I'm trying to ponder why it wouldn't
'Cause,
reset.
yeah, let's think this through. So the two players are next to each other. The first time it's working, boom, that looks exactly as expected. Whenever the player goes away and comes back,
It is working.
but that case it's not. Look, if this player moves and comes back, it doesn't.
But Piccolo hasn't moved.
Oh, I'm out of
Now,
Kai stuff.
you're out of Kai.
Yeah,
Punch
what's
him.
the
Punch, punch.
how do I punch? I forget.
Or Q. Q, I
Which buttons are which? There we go. We're punching. We're punching. Okay. Oh no, I don't want to turn sticky
Whoa.
keys on.
think.
All right. So we come up here and we Kai blast. Oh wow, that was weird. Oh look, I'm not doing anything and it's automatically Kai blasting. Look. Oh, we got a
It's just
problem.
Kai blasting when you get up close.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything but moving.
Oh
Okay.
no. Wonder what's causing that. Does it happen when Piccolo runs into Goku?
Nope.
Does it happen now that Piccolo's moved?
Yep.
Yeah.
Only on one
Every
side.
time you get next to Piccolo, in front
Oh,
of
in
him.
front. Yeah. That's okay.
Only whenever you're. What if you turn Piccolo around? Maybe there's just something wrong with player one's Kai Blast impact writing.
Oh look. Oh yeah, we got a
That
problem. Look.
spot staying right there.
Yeah. Look.
There's something wrong with player one's Kai Blast.
Oh man. Bugs. Bugs.
Bags.
Yeah. It's like whenever.
Reset the game and see if it keeps the spot there. I wonder if it was not there now.
I think shoot a Kai blast and we come over here. I think it'll actually
Now
have.
you shoot him.
I think whenever we shoot him. Now I think it's. Yep.
Yeah, it's stuck there.
It's looking for impacts where the players used to be.
Yeah, because it's using the player's grid instead of
Right.
going
So
off the
you're
Kai
right.
Blast.
So whenever that right.
There.
Let me
Weird that
think.
it's staying there and highlighting when you go over it.
I mean, it's just that anytime there's an intersection, it's triggering the explosion to be true.
Yeah. Anytime it goes back over that spot where the player was at that moment, and then it's not deleting it and erasing it.
But it's still. Oh yeah, right. So it's the problem with this Kai blast. It's a problem with this.
And also, it's you shot with Goku, but Goku's got hit somehow. So there must be a player 1, player 0 flip flop somewhere or something like that.
No, I think it's. I think. Let's see here. Where are we? Where's the impacts? I might have an even more elegant solution than all of this we just did.
Okay.
What if here in the Kai Blast loop? I think we're overcomplicating this. Actually, now that I think about it, this might be part 2 next time we do this. I don't think there's time to fix it tonight. We're kind of working and kind of not. And I gotta make dinner. I said I'd make dinner tonight. What if we built it into the Kai Blast loop?
Yeah, we could probably do that.
Well, maybe.
Make it-
So the loop
Yeah.
is happening. Sprite is changing. Sprite is changing. So let's think how. Let me think how that
Maybe
might.
you would want it in the Kai Blast impact loop because Kai Blasts are going to shoot a lot, and not all of them are going to explode or need an explosion.
Right.
They only need an explosion if they impact, if they actually collide with the other player, not a wall. So there's only a specific instance where you want an explosion. You only want the explosion if the Kai Blast hits another player.
So what we could do. Well, maybe not. Come on, Dinah. I know I'm being really quiet, just trying to think this through.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about.
It's just so weird because, like, you fire a Kai Blast, make an impact, the explosion happens, the player 0 goes away, player 1 goes away. Whenever player 1 goes back over the grid position, the explosion grid position, where it becomes visible again.
Yeah, it's like staying there. It's not going away. Is there anything like making it false or making it undraw?
I have an idea here too. Oh yeah, look. This is part of the problem.
Oh.
Look.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought that if we're having the problem here, we're setting the grid values to 0, 0 initially, right?
Yeah.
And yet,
Yeah, so anytime you go in that corner, you get shot. It doesn't
right,
take any damage, though, but
right. So we
draws an
need to.
explosion.
I think I know. I think I might know a fix or a partial fix. So we want the explosion. Where's the? Mm-hmm. Why would it do that? All right, let's look at Dinah. Come here. Cat's acting up. Where's the draw function for the explosion? Okay, so it's going to draw it whenever chi explosion is true. Right?
Should you do like an else if chi explosion equals true, then that sprite equals false or something?
I think the problem is that chi explosion is set to true somewhere where it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's set to false right off the bat of the match, right? Yeah, this is still one of my guesses, is that here at this should get set to false at the end of this. The impact.
I don't think so because,
Yeah.
because think about it. You detect the impact.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't all the way make sense. It's just one of the things that I keep being like, well, I can't think of anything else.
You detect an impact, and the explosion gets set. That gets set to true, and the explosion gets set to true.
Mm-hmm.
We then immediately set the coordinates of the positions, which is fine.
Yeah, and then the loop is what's supposed to set it
Now,
back.
if the explosion is true, we immediately draw the. Well, not immediately. We go through this loop,
Yeah, we go through the loop.
and the loop gets set to 0. But then we immediately change it to 1. That's fine.
Well, it's making sure that the loop is also at 0 there. It's like if it's true and the loop's at 0, then +1.
Yeah, but it starts out at 0.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it go to 0. It's
Yeah.
just making sure, checking. But it should be at 0 anytime it's false.
If there's no explosion, we set the sprite back to the default. Loop goes to 0, which shouldn't affect anything.
I don't know if you checked all the way from the top or not.
I think so.
Let's see, DC.
I think we set it to false initially, right?
I think so. Yeah, okay, explosion equals false.
It's happening for both players.
You guys are getting hit by the right ones. Which is interesting.
But it's weird because it shouldn't be triggering unless the
Chi blast impact is true. Yeah, Chi blast impact being true is the only thing that ever makes the explosion true.
I'm really stumped.
It's weird that it's drawing anything before there's a Chi blast impact. There's not even a Chi blast.
Right. So
Just
it's
both
yeah.
okay.
That's so that should help us narrow it down, right?
Yeah. It's not even a Kai blast being drawn, so it shouldn't even be being functioned or called at all.
Because it's working right on. I don't even have to fire anything. I go up here, and I'm getting a. And that, it
Yeah,
doesn't
you're
even. It looks like
getting
just one frame of it too. I don't see the big cloud. Do you?
no.
I can't really tell. It's happening
But
so
then it's
fast.
weird because yeah, it's so fast. You're getting hit with yellow, but Goku gets hit with the purple for some
Yeah.
reason.
Well,
So
yeah,
it's
because
like
you're getting hit by the opposing.
yeah, so it's
It's
interesting that
working
it's
right.
pulling in the correct color or the
Yeah.
correct sprite.
Right.
Is it within the draw function?
Maybe.
For some reason, it's just drawing it right from the beginning up there,
But only when they
or
intersect.
over it when they intersect. Saying if it's true, then draw a sprite at the
I don't see a problem there. It's
explosion
like if the
grid.
explosion is true, then draw something.
Then draw the explosion sprite at the explosion grid X and grid Y. Where are those defined at? Besides just in the variables?
In the impact functions.
We use those same ones. Okay. What in the heck?
These are punches. Punch loop, Kai blast. That's fine. That's fine. It's in the impact functions.
Yeah, explosion grid X equals, yeah. So, and that's where the
Oh,
sprites get drawn into.
Hold on. Kai blast grid X. Player one grid. Oh, and. Oh, okay. Hold on. I think the problem's here in this impact function. We need to make sure that the hold on, let me think. The problem's here. I'm sure of it. Right here. Because we're basically saying whenever the blast location equals the player one location, then set the explosion to true. The blast is also set to 0 by default.
Oh, yeah, they both have the same
So
default
whenever
of
you
0, 0.
right. So whenever you so we need to say oh, let me think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. That's so tricky.
And I think we need to add a condition here. If the and this is where this is one of the things I like. I feel like if I try it and it worked, I would go, "Yay, it worked!" And if it doesn't work, I want to make darn sure I can take it out because I just broke something, you know.
Yeah.
So I think we need to add a condition here. So basically saying whenever we're looking for an impact, right? So we need
Yeah.
to yes, whenever the Kai blast grid X is equal to the player one grid X, we're saying immediately set the explosion to true, but that's not what we mean. We want there to be an active. We want the Kai blast to be true as well. So what we're doing, we're running this whether or not there's a Kai Blast going on.
Oh, so you want to also check that Kai Blast equals true.
Yes, I think
Those
that's
are
right.
true, and Kai Blast equals true is equals true, and P0
Yeah.
Kai Blast
Okay.
equals true.
Will you help me
Or
remember?
if Kai,
Will you help me
maybe
remember?
even just right there at the beginning, yeah.
Will you
If
help me remember
P0
where
Kai
I'm at
Blast
here?
is
I'm going to try
true.
it.
Yeah.
If P0 Kai Blast equals true, and
And try that.
let's solve that one.
Nice.
Hold on here.
Now what? Yeah.
That did it.
Oh, dude, solved it all. That's it.
And we need to do the
So
same thing on the
nice,
other one.
simple.
So P
Yeah, so P1 Kai Blast equals true.
is under the impact, right? Yeah.
Your impact. Nice. 2 for 1 right there.
If
P1
P1 Kai Blast equals true, and now we need to test the heck out of it to make sure we didn't break anything. But
Yeah.
so we're
Oh.
Frieza, and I'm using which button now? Okay, it's yep. We're using Kai. We're hitting the player, using Kai, decrementing the health. We come up here,
Nice, dude.
and
That's so cool.
we're not getting that weird behavior.
Nothing in the corner. And what about with Goku?
Which let's see. It's sorry, gotta remember which button it is here. A. That's working as expected. Oh, you know what's funny? It might be happening. So, okay, we're still getting a little weird behavior. Ah, that's working. That's working. It's working. It's when you hold them down. It's going so fast.
Oh, it doesn't just like pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, it should though. Right?
Well, it's going 30 times a second, and it's like the second that it hits, it's able to relaunch the next Kai Blast. So it might be like as soon as it starts to draw the animation, redrawing and starting to redraw over and over so fat 30 times every second, basically. It's refreshing and starting to draw from loop 1, loop 0, I mean, I guess.
It's
Yeah,
still a bug, but
necessarily has
it's a
time.
better bug.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, much better. It's working, and now there's no weirdness in the left corner of the screen anymore. Cool. Yeah, so we'll just have to. I mean, maybe at some point we'll have to slow it down so that whenever you're right next to him, it doesn't go 30 times a second.
Should still be
And
working though.
it wouldn't really slow it down much whenever you're far away. It would be the same speed still. It would feel the same from far away, and then as you got closer, it would just slow it down a little bit more.
Right.
But yeah, it's that might bring the graphics in, I think, because I think it's trying to do it, but just drawing it so dang fast that we can't see it.
Oh,
maybe.
that's
Or
probably
it's, like,
right. You know, it's
erasing it and
probably
resetting.
because we should still at least be getting the first sprite.
Yeah, I feel like it should just like sit at one of the sprites.
Even if there's no time for it to go through the sprite loop.
4. Yeah, it should just
All
sit
right,
at
but that's a
1,
better bug. We
like,
can
sit at
figure that out
first
next
one.
time. I think
Yeah.
not bad. You know,
Yay.
not
Save.
bad.
I don't know if it's
Yeah,
saved,
let's definitely
but
save
it's
it.
freaking-
Save fight.
It's working. Save.
Okay. Let's go to Trello here. Okay, so we did fix that. Fix bug. Let's see, bug fix. Kai Blast explosions not displaying when players are adjacent and player holds down Kai Blast button. That'll let us duplicate it at least.
Yeah.
I think we'll work on that next time. Again, this is the unfortunate thing
And
about.
maybe while we're
Mhm.
Oh,
Well,
I
we're
was
what?
just gonna say maybe while we're working on finishing up the Kai Blast, we can make them have impact when they hit each other too, because
Mhm.
that would be the last function of the Kai Blast. They're not really supposed to be able to blast past each other, but it's totally fine. But yeah, that could be
Wait,
something
so
else to look at
what do you want to?
if
What
we're
do you
still messing
say
with
that
Kai
again? What do you want to
Blasts.
have to do? What do you want? How do you want to
Oh, I was
change?
just saying we could add that onto the to-do list to make the Kai Blasts have impact with each other.
Oh
So
yeah,
Kai
yeah.
Blasts don't fly through each other. A Kai Blast should hit a Kai Blast, but it's not huge. But if we're still messing with Kai Blast, I thought it could go into our to-do list. Like have Kai Blast collision or
Yeah. Okay.
oh yeah, perfect.
And then trigger an explosion.
Yeah, that would be ideal. They should both explode right there.
But next to each other. The two explosions
Yeah,
next to each other.
you would probably want them to explode next to each other and not on the same grid space.
Right. Okay, we could figure that out probably.
Yeah. Or have one of them explode just to
you
just
can
take us
see
over and have one
how
of them explode.
why games take so long. It's like it's mostly working,
Oh yeah,
and each of these big pieces is going to take some time adding
yeah,
the round loops. But we have a problem with combat, so it's like okay, now we're spending
yeah,
probably 2 more hours on combat next time, or we work on these other things. But but if there's a
yeah,
problem with the combat, like something's just broken, like it should be working better than it is. It's working pretty well though, but it's just why.
yeah. Yeah, why won't it display that whenever you go fast?
Yeah, it's like it's strange because
Maybe it's because it's drawing 0 first and not 1. So it's staying on 0 and it's drawing it at 0 because it's going 30 times a second. So we're just seeing 0, which is no sprite.
well, that's not true. Zero in the explosion loot doesn't mean no sprite. It's sprite 204.
Oh, oh yeah, that's right. It does start off with 1 sprite.
I think it might have to do
Hmm.
with when we are setting the Kai explosion to true. We're not gonna. Let's just table it for next time. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's okay.
Have some time to simmer on it.
But it might be like just like where might it be happening here? Let's just take a look real quick. If the Kai blast is true, and the grid X equals grid Y, it might be here. If the Kai blast is true, and the Kai blast grid position is the same as the opposing player's grid position, then we set the explosion to true. Okay, when is Kai blast becoming true?
Kai Blast is true when the button is pushed, I think.
I think
Yeah,
that's
as soon
right.
as the button is pushed.
Yeah, so Kai blast is set to true. Okay, so one of the players hits the buttons, doesn't matter which one.
Mhm.
We're just trying to get the flow here. The blast is set to true. In this very same function, like we haven't drawn anything yet. Right, so the blast is set to true. We haven't drawn anything. We continue down the code here. If the blast is true, we start this loop.
Mhm.
The loop immediately goes to 1. One of the sprites is the sprite number is incremented. Okay. Then we're looking for. That's okay. This is going to loop, and I think this is fine. I really do. Then we get an impact. Well, no, nothing else happens yet. We haven't had an impact. Oh, we do. We have had an impact right off the bat because the player's right next to us. So the blast is set to true. P0 Chi blast. Okay. Then the explosion is set to true. Explosion being set to true throws us into the explosion loop. And we should draw, It works the first time around, right?
Yeah. Well, it works if you press it slower too, didn't it?
It
It was working
does,
when you were
yeah.
like tap, tap,
So
tap, not just when you're
why
holding it.
why are the repeated
Gotta be
button
something
presses
about the
getting in the
speed.
way? Because if it's only looking for a button press every 30th of a second, it should be
Yeah, it's gotta be
drawing
just going so fast. But
maybe.
it should draw something still.
I mean, we could also try. If you remember, there's the kind of button press that only works every four. Where's the cheat sheet? There's this button press, and there's BT and P right here instead of BTN. I think that only looks for a button press every 4 frames to solve this very problem.
Oh.
So you can't fire too rapidly is the idea.
Oh, okay. We could try that for the Chi Blast
I mean,
button press.
right, and we could actually,
Just
we
adding
could
a
probably,
P in there and see what
we could
happens.
literally do it right now and see if that is satisfying. But
Yeah, see if
but
that
it won't
changes
let
anything.
you rapid fire as much.
Yeah.
So that might be dissatisfying if you like the rapid fire.
Which might be fine if it's just like every 4th one, right?
Mhm.
So it's still
It
multiple
might.
times a second.
It might give it time to cycle through the animations in a satisfying
The
way.
animations. Yeah, because that's 4 seconds. 4 animations. That would be exactly how long. So you need to go to the button press for Chi Blasts.
Right. So
It's like
BT
player
and
0
P
button press. Yes.
and BT
right
and
there,
P.
too. That should be it. Everything's still working.
Well, it solves the problem.
Nice. Yeah, that's still plenty fast enough. And you can just hold it down back there too. Yeah, I mean.
Well, the weird
it's still
consequence
just-
if you get too close, it works. Oh, now it's not working. It worked.
No,
Now.
you're
Oh, we're out of
Chi
Chi.
gauge.
I keep doing that. Let me load up my
Yeah.
Chi here.
Okay.
Boom. Okay. So I'm here, and I'm gonna rapid fire right here, which is. It's weird because it doesn't work quite as expected. Like on the.
Yeah, it does.
There's a
little
delay.
Slower.
I don't know why. Like the very first one, if I do it, there's a little delay and then it rapid fires. Why is it so rapid firing? See what I mean? Look, watch. I charge it up. Now I'm going to hold the button down. I'm not going to do anything but hold the button down. There's a little delay after the first one, and then it works as expected.
Hmm.
I don't know why there's a delay after the first one now. It's not too bad, though.
Yeah.
But it's still, like, not...
Yeah, it's like dun 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 instead of dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
It's like
why?
Dun 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 dun.
Why would it... And now then it's working totally consistently from there. Just after the first one, there's a delay.
Hmm. I'm too low on Chi, I think.
It still feels pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
That's... I mean, it's
Maybe.
better.
Yeah, it's doing it right.
But is it actually showing all four frames of the?
I don't think so. I feel like it's just
It's not showing
like
the
middle
cloud,
ones or something.
is it?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the cloud or the little one, or they're going so fast I can't tell. But the cloud's so big and bright, I thought it would be pretty obvious.
Well, right, exactly. That's why I worry that maybe we messed up the.
Like the loop's not playing them all through or something. I can't tell. If it goes through with a fraction of a second, it is hard to see 4 individual images that fast.
I'm not seeing the
But
cloud though. I'm really
clearly
not.
seeing the middle one. I'm clearly seeing the middle ones.
I don't see the cloud.
Yeah, I don't see the cloud. So
So let's
maybe
look.
it's just stopping one early or something.
Maybe. So the explosion loop. Okay. So.
Starts at 0, the loop goes to 1. And the sprite's already on the very first one. We're already on sprite imagery 1. Oops. Imagery 2. Oops. Yeah, that should be the 4th image.
Yeah. So right, if the explosion loop is 0, we change the loop. The explosion is set to true, so we should be drawing a sprite that frame.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is sprite number 1.
yeah,
This is sprite number 2.
yeah.
This is sprite number 3. And this is sprite number 4.
Yep.
Oh, look, we're setting the explosion to false. And so we don't draw the last one.
So do we want to do like some sort of separation between those?
I actually think.
Because we want it to go back to false and 0
Right.
at the end of the loop. Do we want like a then, else if?
No.
Or no, that doesn't make sense.
I think this is the reason it's not drawing the 4th frame right here.
Yeah. Yeah, would it not just be then, but then not have an else if? Right, plus equals 1, then chi explosion equals false, the loop equals 0, end? Or does that not work without another end, or if?
I wonder if we need to add, maybe for next time, I wonder if we need to add one more to the loop, and all the last one does is change the explosion to false.
Yeah. Else if goes to 4, then explosion equals false.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you would need a loop right here, loop plus equals 1, and then you go to loop explosion loop equals 4. Yeah, so you just need to add 2 more lines in there.
Right. Which we can try right now.
Sure.
Right?
Yep. Else if. Loop equals 4. Then. Yeah. Then at least try that real quick.
And it's only worked for player 0.
Player 0.
Which is Goku.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely
Way
changed
better.
it. Yeah.
Boom!
Yeah. Boom. Okay, so yeah, that's what was wrong. So we just need to do that to the other player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. need to add the one more to the loop too. In the step.
Oh,
before
yeah.
that.
It's a reason they call this pair programming in the programming world. You know, people just hold each other accountable. It goes so much faster.
Yeah, it's so much easier. Yeah, I have like nothing to do here but just look at it. Plus equals. Oh. Yeah, plus equals 1 there.
Oh, yeah, what am I doing? Yeah. I don't need this then there.
Nice. But now they should both work and have the full loop in there. Boom. Yeah.
Out of
that's totally
curiosity,
different.
I
Yeah,
know
we weren't seeing that.
I know we tried the changing the button to B, T, and P. I just
Yeah,
want
we'll
to.
take that off now.
Yeah, I just want to. I'm not convinced we need that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, we could figure out a different way. We might have to do a timer though. But I was, yeah.
Oh,
it
look,
might
it's
be
working
handy
some of the
for other
time. Look.
stuff.
Oh no, it's not.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
look.
just too fast, I think.
That's weird. Watch.
Yeah, it did a few of them that time. Yeah.
It does just seem to have to do with how
pressing
fast.
an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, if you just single tap it a bunch of times really fast, I bet it would do it
Maybe
every
we do
time.
need that. I mean, there's a reason they added that into the, into the coding.
Yeah. There's also I'm pretty sure we can do a timer threshold. We can add in a timer and you can slow down how fast things like that are happening.
Really? So not 30
Yeah,
frames a second, but it'll slow the whole
Yeah,
game down
you
if you do that.
No, you can just do it per individual things. Like I was watching a guy, he was making another game and he did like an animation for his character. So it would walk and he was walking at 30 frames per second, but he slowed it down to where he was only walking like 3 frames per second. So his character was moving slower and he had that animation just for his character running through the whole game. So his character is constantly walking.
Well,
that was.
As of right now, I think it's better with the BT and P. It feels better.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it feels
Until we
better.
figure out the timer threshold thing.
Yeah, so let's just leave it at that for now.
I agree.
It's got a little bit. It only has the one weird behavior where it's got that extra little delay, which I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't understand. I mean, the other stuff was hard to figure out. This one, I truly don't understand why there would be an extra hiccup there.
Must be something about the way that B and P functions.
You know, it's nice because it actually feels better. It slows down the rate at which you can do damage up close.
Yeah.
It makes it's not. Yeah, it's still it's better. It's because it only
and it does the animation every time, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. So maybe we can figure out why it's missing. I'm curious if it's. I want to look at the. Hold on, which button is it? That one. Okay. Oh yeah. Look, it's. If you look at the don't look at the explosion. Look at the Frieza's Kai Blast bar. It's going to do the same delay up there. Watch. I'm going to hit the button and watch. There it goes. See, it did it once, and now it's going faster. So the first time around, there's a little weirdness there.
Yeah, there's some sort of delay that happens, which must be with that button press thing trying to limit your.
Maybe that's just what it does exactly, right?
Yeah.
But that might be okay. It could be a feature more than a bug, you know.
Yeah.
Well, do you want me to send you this version? What's that?
Yes, please. Oh, I was just saying, it kind of makes sense for Dragon Ball too. Like maybe they're just like charging up a little bit and getting ready and like
yeah, why not? Sure. Sense. Well, it's like there's a reason that they used to put publish instruction manuals with games. They go, the first time you use your Kai Blast, it has to charge a little more. Just code for we couldn't figure out how to make it work right. It's fine with me.
It works.
Yeah, I like it. If we can't figure, no, really, if we can't figure it out, that's what we're gonna say. Okay. So, yes, let me send you
Yeah, I
this
definitely
version.
want this version.
So I'm going to hit the be right back screen. So I can.
And then I will add the music to this and change out all the Kai Blast to little Kai Blast and add in the explosions of the proper colors for all the Kai Blasts.
Yeah, and then there's going to be a little back and forth because I do want to make those changes into this official version here as well. So.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. I was going to put it into the fight version and then send that back to you. But just like add in, I'll just move the music over and then I'll move in the Kai Blasts, the small Kai Blasts.
Okay, yeah, but when you do that, don't. Well, I don't know. I'll tell you what. Can you meet me in the middle? Can you add the music in and change the sprites, but don't mess with the coding? Let me.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch the coding.
Let me add the
coding on the real.
I'd like to learn how to add the coding in for the music, and I think we can. Let's do that together next time. But if you want to add the music into the music section, but let me
sure.
be the one to add it in with the coding. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, because that way
I'll just build the music back in. Yeah, I won't do anything on the coding, literally.
Yeah, that'll make me feel good because that way, I don't have to worry about it breaking or learning how what you did, and then I can learn how to do it myself, which I'll really enjoy. And
exactly.
And we can do that together next time.
Yeah, I prefer it that way. You're the coder, I'm the art guy.
I like it. So let me. I need to. I know people who are watching can't see anything here, but I need to unhide my hidden files, hidden folders, and the window hidden. It's in the Windows settings. It's so annoying. View, show, hidden items. Yes. I'll go to my email. And let's send you. Okay, game in progress, and then 6/12/2025. Attach. I gotta find the file now again. Every time I do this, I gotta remember where the heck. Okay.
Yeah.
Users, app data, roaming, PICO-8, carts. We did save it, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Fight.
Yeah, one of you got it all fixed and working. I don't know if it was with the BNTP or not, though. Or BTNP, but I could take that off myself.
Here, I'll do it right now. Actually, I'll send it you once more. So, I know I just sent it, but I'm gonna send it again.
Cool.
Compose. Game in progress.
Yay!
6/12/2025. I'm gonna put it in front of these. Use this one. There you go.
Thanks.
Just in case.
Cool. Yeah, I'll get the new art switched over there. Yeah, that way it's just all updated, and I'll keep it, as bare minimum as possible, and keep it all uniform and stuff. I'm just gonna replace the big ones with their same color counterparts of the little Kai Blasts.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Is all I'm gonna do, and then add in their explosions. Yeah.
And
then I won't mess with anything else in the drawings.
Yep.
Yeah. So all the explosions will be filled in and properly.
Yeah, and you can just copy and paste those. I don't know if you saw. You can just Control C and Control V to. Yep. And.
Yeah, I will. And then I'll change those out with the little Kai Blasts and leave everything else exactly how it is.
Yep, and then just come over. Oh, here, let me go to.
Then I'll create my sound effects, create my few songs, and I will not code it into the program.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Go nuts in these music sections and the sound effects sections, and I really do want to learn more about that. I got some of what you were showing, but I didn't get how a lot of it works. So.
Yeah, I just spent time playing with it and.
But I love what you came up with. So yeah, go nuts, add it in, and we'll get it into the game next time. And we're it's coming along pretty well.
Perfect. I look forward to it.
Likewise.
Cool. Yes.
I'm gonna go back to where I'm gonna end on a high note and show our work here. Let's run.
Yeah, play it. Yeah, next time we'll have song playing whenever you do this.
I know, I love it. Let's see, where's the button?
Yeah, look at
There's the
go.
button.
And the little Kai Blast, yes. Get him, fuck him up.
It works pretty well.
Oh yeah, that explosion.
You know,
was
I think
great.
it's designed that way on purpose. I think it's designed to.
Do that delay.
I think that's part of the design. I really, really do.
It makes sense, and I kind of like it. So it's,
I might test it out in a different program and just see. I'll test it out with a different program and see, like, something simple, like here's a circle. When you hit the button, the circle moves, and just see something that simple, whether it has the same behavior or whether it's our code that's caused that weird behavior. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I suspect it's probably built into that function, that button press function.
Cool.
But I like it though, because it's like it does kind of have this. Now that I'm playing with it, I kind of like it. It's like, oops,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I kind of like it the more that I look at it, and I like it just being on the Kai Blast, not the punches so much.
What's weird is it only happens the
Punches
very
and
first time
punches.
though. You know, from there it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen again. It's like. Actually, that time it didn't happen at all.
To get you going.
That's weird. That time it didn't happen at all.
I think the further away you are, the harder it is to notice.
Oh, that could be.
It needs to. The Kai Blast has to hit the person before you can shoot another Kai Blast right now.
Right.
So the further away you are, it'll have a delay anyways. Yeah.
But it feels pretty
and
good.
There you can tell, but I prefer that speed anyways. Yeah, I like it being a little slower because I made the Kai Blast stronger.
I like it.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to just fight with the Kai Blast at a distance and have the Kai Blast attacks.
Well, so far,
yeah,
pretty good,
huh? I'll let you know how it reacts to like somebody getting shot and flying away while the shot is happening. Because we fly so much, but we hit each other with Kai Blasts a lot while we're flying around.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be able to see what the animation does because we're in motion when we're getting hit.
Right.
So I'll let you know how that reacts.
Sounds like a plan.
And behaves.
I think the next time I'll be able to do this is probably I'm going to do some Uber driving on Saturday because well, actually Sunday we're going out of town. Maybe Saturday evening.
Okay, I might end up being busy Saturday. I'll be over at Max's.
Worst case, we wait till next week. It's okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no big deal.
Maybe. Yeah, that might end up happening this weekend.
I think that's fine. I'm going to do some Uber driving on Saturday because I didn't get as much driving time in as I wanted to this week. And Sunday, Susan and I are going to Berkeley. Just to go bebop around Berkeley, yeah.
Have fun. Yeah, I know next week I will be home all weekend. I'm not going to Max's next week.
And we can always do it in the evening one day as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perfect.
Sounds like a plan. We're getting there.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty exciting.
It's super exciting. Yeah, I'm excited to have the music ready to go next time.
Yeah, I think that'll really add a lot of pizzazz to this version.
It does. It feels so much more fun whenever and satisfying, like shooting the blast and stuff, and it makes a little sounds.
Yep, exactly. And
the sound effects are so nice.
And yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, we're getting there. I feel pretty good. We got.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we'd get the explosions working. That was.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the more difficult things I think we've done so far, from my perspective. Anyways, I was like, "Oof, this is seems difficult." I was trying to figure it out in my head. I was not all the way certain, just because there was already a sprite going, and to figure out how to turn that off and switch, and pull it up in the right position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a lot in my head.
Well,
it looked really good.
That's the thing. I mentioned this before, but that's one of the things that concerns me. But I look at this list of things we have to do. I already got rid of Trello here. Whatever. Each of those, it doesn't matter. Each of those items we had on the list on Trello is like, those all look easy, but each of those is a day or 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah. I've already got like 6 hours invested in trying to figure out new rounds.
So it's all good. It just means it's going to take a little bit longer to make than we thought. But it's I'm actually farther along than I thought we would be.
And it's great. Yeah, everybody's really impressed with it, and
I'm glad because this is my very first time making something this complicated. So I mean,
Yeah,
I've
where
made
you going, buddy?
semi-complicated things, but this is quite a bit more complicated. Yeah, loops and loops inside
Yeah.
loops inside loops inside loops. You know.
So many loops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great.
It is.
Perfect. Okay, well,
Well,
hopefully I'll
have a
have
good
some
night.
time on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully. Well,
Yeah, I know that my
if not next week, it
Saturday's
is.
pretty busy already. Cool. Cool. All right, enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Catch you next time. Always a pleasure.
Next time. Indeed, right back at you.
Talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Have a good night.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
You too. Bye.